Hey everybody, get ready. It's time. Oh, can you guys talk for me real quick?
Hello?
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure it's picking up. And also, is my fan really loud or?
No.
I didn't know you had a fan on.
Okay. I don't know if that's Discord or what. Let me see. Yeah, it should be okay.
Audio.
Magic audio. It should be okay because my audio is going directly into the thing, so I just want to make sure it doesn't get fucked up or anything. All right, let's do this funky thing again. I'm sorry about last week. I was playing with my kitten, and I was also super depressed, to be fully honest. But luckily the kitten was very good about that as well. And has been. It's nice having little fluffy guys around. It is Sunday, August 16th, 2020, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I am Alex O'Neill, your host for this podcasting adventure, as per always, we are about to embark on. And joining me, as per always, is Mr. Scott Guthier. Mr. Tony Horvath.
Hey.
Mr. Brian Nobshin Jackson.
Hi.
It's us. We're back together. We are back from another week off. I apologize. Most of the weeks off this year have been my fault, so you can blame Alex O'Neill. But I wanted to start with one thing because I was thinking about this, and it's one of those things that I would like think about and then not bring up on the show. So I'm bringing it up first. I'm sorry, Nobshin. I'm putting you on the spot. I want to talk about hey, Rational Passions Pockets. Hey, everybody. Saturdays, Sundays, whatever. We're live. Talking about video games. We're going to talk about video games right now. No more bullshit. Nobshin, I want to talk to you. I just want to get your quick take. Might be quick, might be long, whatever. On Yoshiora Ono. I think I'm saying that. Ono? I don't know his first name as well. Ono leaving the Street Fighter team. Yoshinori, thank you. Which is a big deal, I think. And we've talked a couple of times, like, sporadically about, like, Street Fighter 6 and what does Street Fighter have to do. I just want to get your take on this, if you had one. Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is this sad? Is it good because it can go on and be better, maybe? I don't know.
It's kind of that. It's something I said, like, recently. Like, pretty much when they announced the new characters for Street Fighter 5. That, like, it's like, we pretty much had to, like, sacrifice Ono to get everything we want for a Capcom fighting game, more or less. And more or less that's true. Obviously, Ono's been, like, a big face, if not one of the biggest faces, as far as, like, Street Fighter and, like, for fighting games in general. Like, it pretty much, like, it's pretty much as soon as, like, Seth Killigan, like, kind of left Capcom, like, Yoshinori Ono pretty much became, like, the face of what that division is, as far as, like, when you think about fighting games, you think about Ono. Mm-hmm. And it's not that big of, like, coincidence, I would say, that, like, that pretty much since Seth Killigan left and, like, since Ono kind of took over, not really took over, because, like, Steph was mostly the US side, so, like, it's not like he made Street Fighter by himself or something like that, or not even Ono made Street Fighter by himself, because he's just one man, there's a team. So, like, there's a lot of moving parts as far as that, but, like, definitely the figurehead, the producer has a lot of control, more than they do in America. Producers more like the decision makers in Japanese video games, more or less. Mm-hmm. So, like, him being gone, and us pretty much seeing, like, for the first time ever, really, since like since they did that big fighting game, Japanese fighting game meeting type of thing, that we've seen, like, the actual director for Street Fighter 5 that, mm-hmm. You know, we never really seen. All we've ever seen was Ono. So, like, you can tell that there's a big shakeup as far as, like, what's happening over there now, as far as what we see. And apparently the person who's taking over for what you, as far as producer, as far as, like, Street Fighter stuff, is someone who has a lot of good cred. I don't really know her name, but, like, or at least I forgot her name. I tried looking her up. There's not really much about her online, but, like, I heard some really good things about her through the grapevine, as far as, like, her credit about this stuff. So it looks like we're going in the right direction as far as like pretty much trying to be what Capcom is for like everything else is. Except, that's not its fighting game division.
Yeah,
because like Resident Evil's been really good, has a really good trend lately. Sure, 3 kind of fell off a little bit, but like
it's still very well made, you know.
Yeah. I think people still give credit to like Resident Evil, and like the next game will just be like, you know, still as stellar as the rest of them. So that's fine. We just got Devil May Cry back, and everyone's been happy with that. Monster Hunter is one of the biggest things out there. Actually their biggest game that they ever made.
Yeah.
So like all is just left is this little pocket in their division, and a big important one too, because like that's the one that everyone knows about when you think Capcom, you think Street Fighter. So like their biggest brand, and you would think like if their biggest brand, they have to try to get that in order, and like it hasn't been in a good shape in like the last 7 years, almost 10 years now. So like pretty much since like Street Fighter Cross Tekken, it's been like kind of not the best, because you had Street Fighter Cross Tekken, then you had like a bunch of PSN, Xbox Live, like Capcom games coming out in like the same year. Because like I think the year that like Street Fighter Cross Tekken came out, you had Darksiders Resurrection. I think you had Marvel vs. Capcom Origins. You had Ultimate Street Fighter 4, I think. Like, and you had Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Ultimate all in the same year. Something along those lines.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
So yeah, they're oversaturating their own market, and like obviously Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite wasn't that great either. So it was like Street Fighter 5 was what it was. So like it's been like a big turmoil as far as that company, as far as like their fighting game division for like the last
do you
decade.
Think, like, Ono is to blame, or do you just think that maybe having someone fresh in there will help change it up?
It's a little column A, a little column B, I would say. Like unfortunately, like it seemed like as far as like a lot of the decisions the decisions that were made, like budgetary wise, like it seems like, I should say, because I'm not 100% confirming because I don't know myself, that Ono was kind of like the head as far as like those decisions. And obviously he's not like he's coding the entire game or something like that. So like, you know, like there are probably other people as well.
Yeah.
But like, I basically what I'm getting around to, because I'm just talking around about this, mostly because I don't want to like say something that like.
No, I know, but I appreciate giving the perspective and having everything set up. Helps you understand.
Yeah, I don't want to say something too much as far as like as someone who doesn't really know much about it, but like you not hear hearsay from other people. So like I don't want to say something definitive, but like basically what I'm just trying to say is like their new fresh blood that they're trying to bring into, or at least the new faces that we see from Capcom right now as far as their fighting game division, it seems like a very good rollout of what that division needs to be and what it needs to strive to be, and try to be what people actually want. Because, you know, like it was just this year that like they just considered doing something about the netcode for Street Fighter 5, which has been out for almost 5 years now, I think. It's been a while, and maybe it's been 4 years, but yeah. So like, I think the new rollout is what they need, and like I think they really need to like go back to like appreciating the brand that they kind of like went away from a little bit. When I'm talking about their fighting game division, obviously, just like do a little bit more what the fans want, more not what you want. Because like the fact that they bring in Dan of all people to Street Fighter 5 is a huge deal, because Street Fighter 5 is made to be an esports game. When that game got put out, it was supposed to be an esports game. So like as far as something being esports, you're trying to have like basically the same type of character, or like an equal amount of characters as balanced that you could possibly can. And Dan is more or less a goof character. So you can make the argument like, oh, you're wasting the character slot with Dan being on Street Fighter 5, but at the same time you're saying, oh, we're taking the time to make a fun character for people to play. So that's the mindset you have to really go for, or really have to really think about it. Like they're intentionally putting in a character who is not really esports friendly, or not many people will pick. He has a fan base, but it's not like he's a Ryu or a Nakuma or something like that. He's not that type of character. He's just a fun character that like you might want to troll somebody, but like not someone you could probably take seriously. But obviously there'll be some top player who would be like main Dan, and then like that'd be the most infuriating thing for most people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a good thing, and I wish him the best. Ono's a very sweet man from when I met him. So like and a lot of people has a lot of good things to say about him.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to beseech the name. I just think, yeah, like you said, a changing of the guard is good. And it's clearly worked out for, like, Resident Evil, especially, right? Like, that's a lot of new guard in there. I mean, it's crazy to think, like, Shinji Mikami was doing, like, so many of those games, right? Up through 6, right? Or he was out at 5?
He did 1 and 4.
Wasn't he a producer on a few of those?
No.
Okay.
He did 1 and he did 1 and 4. Kamiya did 2. I don't know who did 3.
Yeah, I don't think anybody does. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but yeah, he definitely did 1, and then like he exited. Then he did 4, and then like I think he left Capcom a little bit after that.
Yeah, and I don't know what he did immediately after. I think he might have just done some weirdo stuff, and then he got to Evil Within. But I don't remember those intermediary Shinji Mikami games.
He did Vanquish.
Vanquish, that's right. Yes, that makes sense. So yeah, I don't know. I think the change, the slow transition of people over time, the people that have been studying under these people, like the proteges of folks that kind of come into those directorial and producer roles, that's exciting. So I was just curious what your take was on it, and I knew I'd forget it if we waited till news to get to it. So I should write the name. Cool. That's a good. I like that as a jumping off point here. We're going to talk about video games in just a little bit. I just wanted to throw in a couple of RationalPatches.com gems for you in the intermediary. It's a website with a bunch of cool stuff on it, including Quinn, Mike, and I sat down and talked about the Alto collection. We had a review discussion on it. A collection of these 2 mobile games that are coming to consoles. Are out now. Fun fact, George Cruz did the PR for this. Also, full disclosure, George Cruz did the PR for this. So shout out to our alum, George Cruz Alvarez. And Scott White also gave some Werewolf the Apocalypse Hearts of the Force demo impressions, which I believe is a tabletop game. But I'm not 100%. But those are both up on irrationalpatch.com. We did a bunch of... we were going to do an Avengers beta stream, but I guess folks were not jiving with it. So I haven't actually gotten the chance to play it, but there's more stuff coming. I'm going to throw out there, look out for Spelunky 2 stuff once it's coming. I guess it's a month away, so it's pretty, it's actually pretty close, but I'm planning on doing a bunch of stuff for that. So that's it. That's the housekeeping. That's the Street Fighter take. Let's talk. Is any other good? Is like Evo Online happening right now, or is that was also canceled? I don't know.
That was canceled.
Yeah, for sure canceled. I forgot. Sorry, a lot of things come and go. So is the Dragon Ball FighterZ thing just happening independently of everything else right now?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're asking for. Sorry.
Because like there was a FighterZ announcement today, right? So I don't know if that was a part of something or if they just dropped it.
Oh no! Basically, everyone's, at least from the Japan side, like everyone's just announcing in their own separate thing. Mm-hmm. There was a meeting of like a bunch of Japanese fighting game aficionados, as far as like the people who make the games. A big meeting, which was there's something on YouTube right now that people can watch. It's interesting to watch because like this is something that doesn't happen like ever.
Yeah.
So like yeah, they're drinking buddies, but like it's not something that like we the people get to see because like Japanese culture is very secretive as far as like what they make how they make games and stuff like that, and even who they associate with each other with, because like they can't really say too much about like about another game or something like that, because like just the way their culture is. I mean, unless you're Harada, who doesn't give a shit about anything, just like just talks anytime.
It's true.
But he kind of earned that right, and he's a very different type of executive compared to like everyone else. You can even see it during that interview. That's pretty much how that flow was going. Like he just say some off-color thing, and then everyone else had to kind of just looking at each other from their Zoom boxes and just like, oh, we can't really say anything. So it's
Jesus.
So
that sounds about right. Cool. I'm glad something came together for all the announcements and everything. Still, Master Roshi, look for him. Dragon Ball FighterZ. Look for 8 seconds of gameplay. 1 GIF's worth of gameplay. And be happy. Let's talk about video games. Who wants to go first? Not all at once, please.
I'll
Pick
go
Scott.
first.
Scott, wow, Scott said go first, and Tony volunteered
Yeah,
himself.
but I'm going to do this to you.
Okay.
So I played some Risk of Rain this week.
Oh yeah, Risk of Rain 2 entered 1.0.
That's right, Tony. I'm dragging you into this.
Yeah, we played a lot of this game.
Yeah, I'm
In the
excited to
past
play
couple
some of
of
this. Mike Burgess, huge fan of Risk of Rain 2. What do you guys
this
think?
update came with 3 important things.
Yeah.
This is the scrap machine.
Okay.
Items that you do not want in bulks of 10, you can turn into scrap,
That's
which
super
will then get
useful.
prioritized when you go to a 3D printer.
Okay.
So you can now, so long as you find one of these machines, you don't have to gamble away for items you want and then rip out your hair when it was a core item to your build.
Oh yeah.
You can pick items that you don't want, so long as you're not playing with Artifact of Command.
Okay. What's the
Basically,
number
it's
2?
Artifact of Command lets you pick your items, so there's no need for these things.
Oh wow.
So when you don't have that, this is a way to mitigate extremely terrible RNG.
That's good. I appreciate
Because-
mitigation.
It's extremely possible for you to just get 3 items, hit the teleporter. These 3 items aren't usable on you. Not just that they're not that useful, it's these items cannot be used by your character in the way that you are, simply because of how they work.
Sure.
It's not super uncommon for that just to happen. So that's a good thing. The second thing is they added the final boss of the game.
Oh good. That seems important for
So
1.0.
there's a I would call it a 6th consistent map
Uh-huh.
where we talked about the 5th map the last time, where it's the same map every time. It is this weird space floaty rock.
Mhm.
I don't think I described the map, but I think I said that we added the map.
I think you vaguely did. It sounds familiar.
Right. So as I said before, if you want to do a bunch of trials, there's somewhere hidden on the map. It's the same place every time, but quote unquote hidden. You get to essentially pick a code to go to a trial, so there's that. This is the same map, but now their teleporter is different. So the teleporter instead has 2 modes: planet or moon.
Okay.
By default, it's set to moon. So if you don't know what you're doing, and you just hit the teleporter as normal, you're going straight to the boss.
Okay.
And of course, if you just hit the outside of the portal to set it to planet, then you'll go and you'll loop again.
Okay, that's what I was
So
wondering.
by default, if you do not change it, it's 6 stages and you're done.
Got it. But you can loop and then come
But
back.
you can change it and you can loop.
Cool. I like that.
I had a weird thought.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
forgive me, this is totally. I swear I'm not like high or something like that, but like this is something that's like it just popped into my mind.
Yeah.
Are asteroids just like icebergs in space?
Comets are icebergs in space. Asteroids are rocks in space.
Comets
rock.
are, well,
Comets are actually made of ice. So I would put them more in the iceberg camp, personally. But I guess,
I don't think it's a requirement for comets to be made of ice, is what I'm saying.
true, that you're probably right. There's probably
They're generally ice because, temperature.
yeah.
But, and again, for it being a solid or not is not a requirement of an asteroid either.
Yeah, true.
It just has to be a solid mass that is big enough that it's not a pebble and small enough that it is not a planet.
Yeah. I guess I would say that
or moon.
I would want part of it to be mostly obscured if we're going to compare it to an iceberg. I know that's super surface level here, but
Now, so long as it hits the Titanic, it's
yeah,
nice.
exactly. If an asteroid hit the Titanic, it would definitely be an iceberg.
I apologize. Continue.
No, please. This is very important.
We left off at transitioning to the 6th world and talking about that final boss. So
Yeah.
this boss technically has I would say 6 phases or 3 phases, depending on who you talk to. Because the boss himself has 3 different modes. The first mode is where I don't exactly know how to describe the differences between all these because he's generally not on my screen for very long.
Yeah.
Either I'm dead very quickly,
Oh.
or he's dead very quickly.
Okay. I like that balance.
But there is a point. Well, there's a reason for that, and I guess I'll get to it. So the first mode, I don't think he has anything too fancy to describe. If you've ever seen, I think it's Void from Dota.
Uh-huh.
Basically, or maybe he's called the Faceless.
Hey, don't spoil the boss, please.
Oh, has Tony not seen it?
No, I'm saying that the game just came out. Don't spoil the mechanics of the new content, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. We can wait.
Right.
Is he cool, though? You can tell
Yeah,
me
the
that
boss
much.
is fucking rad.
The boss is pretty cool.
Okay.
And I think the mechanics of the boss are what make him really cool.
Oh. Yeah, I see.
So-
I still don't know anything about those, so I do plan on playing it, so we don't have to spoil it.
All right, so we can move on. The third big thing is the captain.
The captain?
The captain.
Is he a new character?
He's a new character.
Okay.
I'm spoiling everything about him.
Yeah, it's fine. He's a character.
That's fair.
So he has a shotgun,
Okay.
and when you hold the shotgun, that shotgun's spread gets tighter.
Okay. Sounds
Um,
standard fare.
His that's a standard left click. His right click is essentially to shock an enemy, which I think it counts as a stun. I didn't read it.
I hope so.
It's it is a stun.
Yeah, so it's like a the damage is essentially void because it's so low that it doesn't matter. But it's effectively it's just a stun, which is very useful.
Sure.
It's part of what made Multi so strong back when he was kind of broken. And it's basically a lot of enemies have charge up attacks, or at the very least, for the more powerful ones, have a telegraphed attack. And what you can do with a stun is you can just reset the attack. So for the very first strong enemy that you'll see in the game, I'll put that in quotes, that is the Golem. He charges Annihilator at you. If you stun him, he has to start the charge over again.
Ooh. How often can you do that stun?
I do not remember the exact cooldown, but
Mhm.
it is frequent enough so that if you get a small cooldown enhancer, or
Ooh.
let's say that you get a backup mag instead, and you just time your stun right, with a backup mag, you'll probably only need 2 charges to kill him. If you kind of ignore him, kill other things first while he's stunned, and then go back to him. So one is generally more than enough.
That's really cool.
But it honestly depends on how many enemies you're fighting.
Yeah, I like that. I assume no other
And
character has that kind of
how
skill.
well you feel. Multi does.
Okay.
Except for Multi's does damage and does AoE and is a little harder to aim.
Got it. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
so that is that ability, and then this next ability is I think it's called Orbital Bombardment. So he calls down a missile from his ship. And for reference, if let's say that Artificer's flamethrower, I believe, does max 500% DPS per second, which was known as one of the strongest skills in the game.
Jesus. Yeah, I imagine.
Orbital Bombardment, which I believe it's 4 uses, or is it 3?
It's 3.
So you can call it down 3 times in succession. It has to be in succession. There's no stacking cooldown. It's once you use it, you have to place it 3 times or hold your peace. It does 3,000% damage.
Jesus Christ. That sounds very useful. So it takes 3 seconds
So
to come
the
down?
limit to this one is that if it does not work on levels that do not have direct access to the sky. So, but in more layman's terms, it's on special levels you can't use it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that makes sense. That's a very powerful tool to just be able to drop through even challenge rooms.
Because of its cooldown and its delay, it is not very good later. But that ability alone, if that is all he had, that would still make him the strongest starting zone character in the game.
Yeah. Damn.
And again, he's without it, he is already up there
That's cool.
because of this next set of abilities, which
Yeah.
is his ultimate. So his ultimate, same sort of restriction as the open of bombardment, but instead he calls down a beacon. So each level, not on a cooldown, you get 2 beacons.
The
So
one that
it
spawns and the
doesn't
one
change.
you can spawn.
No. It's your cooldown is tied to you going through a teleporter.
Oh, okay.
So these things can do what you can pick which each one does because they are tied to your left and right mouse button
Yeah.
when you hit it, and so each one can either be a healing drone,
Ooh.
which I believe it works off of. Does it drop bustling fungus? I thought it did.
Bustling fungus.
Bustling fungus. You stand still, you emit a healing aura.
Oh, okay, got it.
It's a similar effect, but it's not that item.
No, I think can it use it or no?
No.
No, never mind. So it's a decent heal. The next one is a shocking effect. So it deals lightning damage to things around.
Does it also?
I don't
stun?
know all that much about. I don't know.
Okay.
Never used it. Don't
Okay.
have it yet.
I mean, the heal is very useful, so I get it.
The third one is what makes him broken.
Okay.
And if he didn't have both of these, he'd be a pretty bad early character. But give him one of these, and he is now the most broken early character in the game.
I like that.
You call down a beacon, and whatever's inside the beacon is free.
Okay. What kind of things can those be?
I believe they can be anything that gives you items. I'm not so sure it works against turrets and drones.
And you get one
But
of those
for
per
reference-
map. Sorry, I got
You can get 2.
Okay. All right. Now
If
we're
you set
talking.
it to 2.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, these chests can group up, and it works on chance shrines as well.
Okay.
So if you have a chance shrine and a chest are next to each other, that's 3 free items that you didn't have to pay for. Keep in mind, the entire game scales based on how long you've been in the map.
Okay. Interesting. Hearing about this captain, man, that's cool. You've talked about a couple of the other characters now, but I feel like I have a more in-depth understanding of how different they can be. That's cool.
Yeah. I think I talked about Akrid last time.
Yes.
I think he's still my favorite to play.
Okay. I remember Akrid. I remember that name. Tony, have you been playing this since it came out, or are you just jumping in now? I feel like I haven't heard you talk about Risk of Rain 2 as much.
I hadn't played it for a while,
Mhm.
but I jumped back in with the release of 1.0.
Yep.
And it's been fun.
Yeah. What do you think? So, any other thoughts? Any other feelings about it?
I mean, it's the captain is definitely my favorite guy.
Nice.
He's good fun to play, and I like being able to dive in and play another roguelike again. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. I've been hearing like so many good things about Risk of Rain 2 specifically, and I like the music. Like the music also, I hear kind of in my peripheral a lot, because it kind of gets thrown at me from Mike, and I like it. I like it a lot. So I need to play this at some point. I think everybody I know is playing on PC, so
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
it might work on Mac. I can give it a
So
shot.
you can run it,
Mhm.
and if you trust me with those Steam details, we could set up a Parsec loader for you,
Ooh.
because I do have a spare.
Okay. I'd try and run
So
it first,
if you-
just to see if I can.
Mhm.
But yeah, because I was thinking about buying. I didn't know if it was going to go on sale this week because it was hitting 1.0. But I
It
guess,
is on sale.
okay, cool. I didn't
Or
want
it was anyway. I don't know if it is anymore.
Yeah, when I looked at, I think I looked on like Sunday or whatever, and it wasn't. But that might have been too early. I don't know. Cool. Anything else, Scott? You've been playing?
Yes, there's something that you should know.
Yes.
But will I talk about it?
I mean, I don't even know. I keep me on my toes is what I always say.
Yeah, I'll do it. I've been playing a lot of Bug Fables.
Ooh, that's a sweet victory for right now. What's going on? How you feeling about it?
Bug Fables is real good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I guess it might be a topic for later, but it kind of makes me understand why they, even though it's really good, it kind of makes me understand why they did not make a third Paper Mario in this style.
Yeah.
First and foremost, the game itself does a whole lot different from Paper Mario.
Yes.
And if it did not keep the aesthetic, you would not register this as like a clone.
Yeah, I think so too. This is like the horn attack, you know, that the one guy does where you hold the thing down and does it, is like the most Paper Mario I think he really gets.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
Really. Because what they do and what I like is that they streamline the inputs. So in Paper Mario, it is some attacks that you are some attacks for inputs, notably the super jump.
Mm-hmm.
There is a big gray area because you do not know exactly when you're supposed to hit the button.
Yeah.
Is it directly before? Is it as he's landing? Is it so on and so forth? And it's not. It says what it is, but there's an ambiguity there because there's no visual aspect. There's no tactile aspect except for, hey, I guess that didn't work.
Yeah.
With this, there is pretty much none of that. Every input that you're supposed to press is highlighted, and when you're supposed to press it is then becomes precise because it will essentially let you know when you're supposed to press it.
Except for the guard inputs, you have kind of like a gradation there where it's like
there
perfect
is.
And okay guard, acceptable guard.
There is, I believe it's just block and awesome.
Yeah. And so you'll block 1 damage or you'll block 2, basically.
Depending.
Yeah.
I don't know. How far did you get in it?
I was in, I guess, like the second chapter, maybe the third chapter. There's not like really.
I grew way past it.
Okay.
I grew way past it.
I got like the second item, I think, from where I was on my way to.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you just probably finished the second chapter.
Yeah.
The game starts out a bit slow in that regard, and then kind of picks up. All the side quests, are pretty worth it to do.
Yeah, they're really funny. They're really well written.
Use the bank.
Yes, of course.
Use the bank.
Yep. Always use the bank.
Use it.
Always.
Dump your berries in there.
Start building those berries up.
Yeah, I playing pretty much the entire game on hard mode.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for the record, you don't have to do that. You can play most of the game without it, and then when you get to a boss, which you'll know you're on, lose intentionally, and then you'll get to change your medals and turn it on.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Because I believe, well, when you play on hard mode, you essentially, the way that it's presented is you get medals for free instead of having to do other things for them.
Okay. So, I interpret it more as like you just get experience, a lot more experience.
You don't get. Well, it's when you from the guy that you get it from. If you return to the guy after beating a harder enemy, so any mini boss or boss, you get a medal for it.
Yeah.
So the experience thing helps, but there's a hard scaling in it. So
Yeah, true.
enemies that are roughly your level give you a ton of experience, give you a good chunk of experience. Enemies that are above your level give you too much experience, and enemies that are under your level give you practically nothing.
Yep.
When I mean practically nothing, it's everything drops nothing, and then you get 1 experience point at the end.
Yep. Classic Paper Mario.
So it can be pretty hard to try and scale yourself out of the level, which again, that's not something I'm a big fan of.
Sure.
And it's basically because that would make more sense if you tailored the game around standard level upgrades.
Yeah.
Leave all of your build choice to medals, and then upgrade stats stagnant.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you can easily put yourself in a hole early on when you have no medals, or when you essentially win all medal points, you don't have any good medals yet. Because at the beginning you don't. They're not good.
Yeah, they're not. I can agree.
They get better, but I think they remain more balanced for the game.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Versus the other side. Because the other thing that's odd about this game is that you don't get attack upgrades.
Oh. I see. I was wondering when that would kind of happen, because you get like
you get specific party member upgrades.
Yeah.
So you get throughout the entire game, I believe you get only a couple of attack upgrades.
Okay.
You get a couple of HP upgrades. And then the TP upgrades are useful in everybody.
Yeah, of course.
Because,
abilities and skills and whatnot.
And, the one I'm missing is defense upgrades. You only get a couple.
Yeah.
And I believe you have enough to give 1 to everybody. Or if you want, you can stack them all on 1 character. Which...
That sounds actually kind of fun. Put that guy up in front and have him just take the brunt of it.
Well, that's kind of what's happening.
Or give it to the beetle dude and have him do the tunnel.
I'm going to give you some insider baseball of what you can do later in the game.
Yeah.
So there are specific medals in the game which allow you to have essentially 1 person just be a face tank. This didn't exist in Paper Mario because you essentially just had Mario. That was important.
Yeah.
And I don't think you could switch positions.
You can in Thousand Year Door. To be.
I didn't play Thousand Year Door, so I didn't remember.
Oh, okay, yeah. So this game has a lot of stuff from a Thousand Year Door in it specifically. I will say that. How
Okay.
Is it Lev?
So,
is he the tall one, the moth?
Leif, yeah.
Lif. His main attack works is just like how Vivian's main attack in Thousand Year Door works. So like that's where some of that Paper Mario inspiration comes from.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of that going on, and I'm pretty sure Vi's attack is similar to somebody in regular Paper
Yes,
Mario,
I think so as well. Or Mario
but-
and Luigi, one of the two.
One of them. But it's getting back to this one. You couldn't essentially play it out. So one of your characters was essentially a face tank. When I say face tank, his only purpose at this point is to do nothing. Like you get to his turn and you do nothing.
Yeah, you give his turn
Like,
to somebody
is-
else.
No,
Or does
you
he
do not
choose
relay,
do
that's
nothing?
turn relay. That's turn relay.
Yeah.
You go to strategy. You hit do nothing.
That's great.
And with the medals that I have on this, that gives them +1 defense.
Oh my gosh, that's
This
good.
gives you +2 TP.
Oh wow, that's really good.
And +2 HP.
Oh, I see.
Now this costs about like 12 medal points to set up.
Yeah, but it sounds pretty worth it.
Oh, it's pretty much one of the best setups you can run in the game, at the very least, with the medals that I have right now.
Sure. That's really
Barring more medal points, I believe there is ways that you can mod your attacks so that one of your characters has 10 attack. But yeah, especially with how multi-hit damage scaling works. That is boss one-shot potential.
Yeah, that's cool. And to what you're saying too, like that's how doing that setup is a benefit of the like 3-party system that they have, 3-person party that they have worked out in that game.
Right, and the last thing that ties that all together is that there's a medal called Favorite One. If that tank gets attacked, the other two the other two members get 1 point of charge.
Oh wow!
Charge increases your damage by 1 for the next attack.
That's really
so
cool.
He's the most likely to get attacked. He has he has equal defense because that one of those medals drops his defense by 1. So it's equal defense while he does nothing. He has. I also put super block mitigation on him. So when he blocks, he gains it. When you get a super block, it blocks an extra point of damage. Because at this point, he's the one that needs it the most. But yeah, I have that going as a TP battery because in these types of games, you are wasting. The way that it's set up is it is set up for all 3 of your party members to essentially be pumping out as much damage as possible before the enemy kills you. Standard RPG stuff. And because you don't have those attack and defense modifiers, pretty much ever within the game, you can essentially count them out. The harder the game gets, the better you have to be. In Paper Mario, it was kind of this way, but it's not. In this game, it's not just that the attacks get stronger and harder to face. It is that you do not scale with them.
Yeah.
And running these strategies is how you mitigate those differences now.
That's really cool, though. That's exactly the kind of in-depth interplay between characters that I wanted from like Paper Mario to go to after Thousand Year Door, right? So that's cool.
Right. So yeah, that's roughly where it can go. I've been taking a look at some of the other medals, and that damage boost strategy is essentially when you have a debuff on you, there's a few medals that you can get that boost your attack. One of the specific ones I'm talking about is called Poison Attacker. You should have Poison Defender at this point.
I have Poison Defender, yeah.
Right, so it's the same thing.
I have like 12
While
of
you're
them.
poisoned. While you're poisoned, your attack gets raised by 1.
Oh, that's cool. Because I have one that makes you poisoned. I have like a medal that
Permanently?
That like you start poison, you start the fight poisoned or whatever.
I think I missed that one.
Or it's like maybe it's an item that when you use it heals you, but you become poisoned afterwards or something. So.
Yes, weak stomach.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what it is. So that's cool. I like the idea of inducing conditions to do damage.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's really cool. I'm glad you're playing it because, like, Scott, you're going to find these... if I played, I'd be like, oh, this is a cool combination, and then I would just never think about it ever again.
That's kind of what it's coming to on this one, simply because I don't know yet with the medals that I have how I kind of dug myself into a hole. I gave my guys a lot of HP.
Yeah.
I noticed that I wasn't getting one like decent medals enough to combat the damage that I was going through. So my brilliant idea was, well, later I'll get extra medals instead of TP, and with any extra TP, any extra medal points that I get through will end up being HP and TP points. And that's how I'll offset the going straight medals and straight HP.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I come to find out that the medals that you get are not... You set them, and they are... essentially, they are ambient. They are... half of these medals are character-based. Yeah. So, unlike you equipping an ability for a character in Paper Mario, and then anything that was an extra status effect applied to the party,
Yeah.
A good chunk of these medals just apply to a single character.
To one character, yeah, I forgot about that.
Right. So the do nothing portion on that guy in the front, all of those medals are just me pumping 12 medal points into one character.
Yeah.
And everybody else has to deal with the remaining, because I have 24 medal points this far into the game. Has to deal with the split of the remaining few points.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's cool that you can equip, medals per character. It does add a whole other layer to it, but yeah, it can definitely produce interesting combos, it sounds like.
Right. So at this point, I believe I have too much HP by like 3 points.
Sure.
Which translates into 9 medal points, which I can do way more with.
Yeah.
And with how level scaling works in this game, it's I might end up with roughly that amount of HP at the end anyway, but at this point it's going to be essentially until the end of the chapter that I'm on, which is the next to last chapter.
It's all metal upgrades all the time.
Pretty much. And the way that I set up that do nothing thing for is because I'm also a little bit starved on TP.
Yeah.
I have 24, in which if you take a look at your TP costs, I have one ability that takes 13 TP to use.
Jesus. What ability is that?
Now, if I found a way, it's called Freezing Rain.
Oh, cool. I know who does that, and I know what that does.
So it doesn't exactly do what you think it does.
Okay.
So you drop a series of icicles on people.
Yeah.
So you have to aim them.
Okay.
Instead of it being a blanket damage increase, it's like frigid ice.
Yeah.
The one where the cursor moves around, it's more like that one. And you drop icicles on people. And I can't think of a reason as to why they would say, okay, without having a TP generating strategy, this is the only ability you're going to use this fight.
Yeah. Interesting.
It would make more sense if they gave you more damage upgrades.
Yeah. Hearing you talk about it,
But
it's
they
interesting
don't.
that they don't. I guess, like, do a lot of enemies have higher defense later on, or is it all just kind of 1 and 2s?
It stays as 1s and 2s. The big difference here is their attack damage.
Yeah, it goes up a lot. It's true.
Yeah, it goes up a bit. It goes up pretty high, and then so it's your damage requirement to start killing these things starts to skyrocket.
Sure.
So you got to start using abilities on normal enemies.
Yeah, or else
Like,
they're gonna kill you.
to stay alive.
Yeah, it's true of Paper Mario as well. I mean, not to the same degree. I could already tell you in Bug Fables, but that's cool.
Yeah.
I think that
Without
covers
doing
it.
without doing any story spoilers,
Yeah, because I'm.
which,
still
by the
curious.
way,
Yeah,
is good.
it's good. Okay.
Is good. Yeah, get back in.
I liked what I saw. It was just one of those things of like, this is very different, and what I talked about last time of like the kind of language of Mario, I think kind of easier to understand. Cool. Yeah, I'm great. This is great. I'm glad to hear you playing it. Anything else you played, Scott? Any other surprises you're about to drop on me or anything?
I think we'll leave it at that.
Okay. I like that. Could be, but not today. Tony, what about you, man? You played some Risk of Rain.
Yeah, a lot of Risk of Rain.
You also played something you showed us before we started.
I'm considering playing that game.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't gotten too far into it. I played through about as much as you've seen,
Sure.
plus like 10 minutes.
Sure.
This
Is
looks
it not
cool.
worthy?
What do you mean?
Worthy of the
No.
Horvath slate. What is this a game that you can play obsessively for the next 40 weeks? That's my question.
No. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about Path of Exile.
There we go. Now we're back into it.
Yeah. So the league, I have,
what do you know? I guess it's time for me to dip out early.
I have hung the league up to dry. I donated all of my gear to a streamer, who then sold it all to buy a bunch of really expensive stuff to gamble with for the end of the season, which he does like every league.
Nice.
So yeah, I handed over like his whole thing, like I had my whole set of gear to him, and his chat was like, "Holy shit, that gear is insane!" And then he sold it for a ton of money to buy a bunch of headhunter belts, and then
did he give you photo credit at least? Did he be like, "Yeah, shout out to my homie Tony Horvath"?
No, it's not like that.
Right, whatever. He's dead to me. Who's the streamer,
yeah.
Tony? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, then he vaulted 192 headhunter belts just to see what would happen. You know, it's like that kind of thing. Yeah, I did that. I was playing solo self-found hardcore
I remember this
for a
last
while. But I just kind of stopped playing it. I don't know. I didn't really like the build. I got to the beginning of Act 9, which is pretty good for the first time playing, and I had there was no time where I thought I was going to die, really. So I think I played pretty well. I usually don't get that far without dying. So
how many acts are there?
There are 10.
Okay. That is
the beginning of Act 9 is kind of like a big break point for a lot of characters because that's the Blood Aqueduct. It's the most efficient farming thing in the main story.
Okay.
So a lot of people in solo self-found will get to that point, and it also drops a certain divination card that can give you a guaranteed 6-link chess piece, which is very important because most builds need that. So I got to that point, and I was playing basically like a junior build, which needed to transition into a more endgame build when I got to a certain point. So I got to that point, was grinding for like 4 hours in there until I eventually got all 9 of the cards I needed to get that 6-link. Did a full transition into the new build and just kind of fell off right after that. I was like, I don't really like the build all that much.
You're like, I won. This sucks. Yeah, I get it.
No. I mean, it wasn't really like that. So I kept playing for a bit, and then I was like, all right, I guess I'll just finish the story. And then I went to actually go keep playing, and I just didn't really like playing the build, so I was like, never mind, it's fine.
Oh man.
But I was like, I thought for a minute, what if I just let myself die? It's like sweet release. Because if I die, my character's gone.
That's super on brand for me, so I fucking very much appreciate that.
Yeah, but then I was like, nah. I put 15 hours into this character already, so
yeah.
I'll just let it sit there. So yeah, I was fun, I had fun with that, but then I was like, okay. Then I gave away all my stuff, and I watched that guy stream for a couple days to see my stuff get sold, and then he did a bunch of cool stuff with it. So basically, everybody's quitting the league now. It's that time for the people who play most of the league.
Yeah.
That all the streamers and stuff and all that are all stopping.
Now, in this interim, in this downtime, I assume when this league ends, the next one starts immediately, or is there?
Yeah. Well, so when the league ends, that is true. It will immediately go to the next league, but it's not for another couple weeks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the league is not actually ending. It's just most people play the league for 3 weeks, and then they don't play for 2 months, and they come back for the next league for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I ended up playing for 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks or something, which is what most people who play for a long time play for about that time. And then there are people who play standard are playing this league because it's so overpowered for making good items that people in standard who just play standard, not league, are playing the league so that they can make items to bring back to standard.
Ooh, that's cool.
Because the standard will never see this mechanic because it's not going core. They did announce that this week that Harvest crafting and all that will not be going core because it's too powerful.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad because I actually liked it.
No, I know you've been talking about how you'd hope this makes to the actual core of the game.
Yeah, I do hope that it gets used in some way.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure how they would make that work. Obviously, they're also not sure how they would make that work, but they have also said that they're going to look at a way to bring deterministic crafting into the game in a way that is more balanced than just you can make GG items on week 1.
Yeah.
You know.
Now,
So.
my other question was, do you know what the league mechanics of the next league are yet, or are you
Nope,
going
not yet.
to?
It hasn't been announced yet, at least as far as yesterday, which would be the last time I would have seen it.
Sure.
I haven't checked for anything today. I'm not sure what the timeline usually is for that stuff, but some of the community managers, like on Reddit and stuff, have been hinting at, like, you know, they already know the name for it and all that. So obviously, like, the league mechanics are developed while the current league is happening, or, you know, even in advance. And the way that they do a lot of their content production is they'll just make like cool stuff, even just to have it, and then they'll bank it for when, like, oh yeah, this could be good here, you know. So like they may have a ton of like dragon stuff made, even though there are no big dragons in Path of Exile, just for like if they happen to make a dragon league later, they'll already have those assets. They've got a ton of stuff like that. So they already know obviously what's happening in a couple weeks, but they haven't let us know yet. So
Sure. I'm just curious if they can. It seems like they kind of caught lightning in a bottle in a lot of ways with this one. Are you
I think
you go ahead.
Most people wouldn't say that.
Okay.
It's really good to have that kind of thing. I think it's really good for the game, and a lot of people, and especially like a lot of the streamers and stuff, think that the changes are really good. But I think that in general, the vast majority of the people who play Path of Exile like leagues where there's a lot of big loot explosions rather than leagues where you have to craft stuff.
Sure.
So it wasn't as successful as some other leagues have been in the recent past.
Are you expecting the next league to be as engaging, or?
I'm expecting it to be a loot explosion-y league, because they like to go back and forth between like a more mechanical one, kind of like the Synthesis was, which had like a whole like map thing you had to map out and stuff. And then they did Blight, which was, or not Blight, they did Delirium, which is the big loot explosion league. And then they did this one, which is a crafting league. So, you know, they kind of go back and forth.
Sure, yeah.
So considering this one had no big loot explosions really at all, I'm expecting the next one is going to be very loot explosion-y.
Yeah, but that can be fun in its own way as well, right? So,
yeah. I've already decided on what build I'm playing and all that and I'm assuming that it's going to be loot explosion-y. So I'm playing a build that can kind of like, you know, does really well when that's the thing.
Sure. Yeah. That's cool. That sounds fun. Anything else you've been checking out this week, or these last 2 weeks, I should say?
Some League of Legends, you know, is what it is. Some Fall Guys.
Yes, we haven't talked about Fall Guys on the show yet.
Yeah, it's a cute little game.
Yeah, you think it's a little half baked, right? That was.
Yeah, I do. I think it's very half baked.
Yeah,
it's cute it's fun for like 2 hours, and then you might want to wait like 3 years for them to put more content in there.
That's fair.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't been seeing that take a lot. I feel like that's how I would feel. That's how I feel that about so many things like Destiny, whatever. But I guess the simplicity of it has been speaking to. Is Fall Guys like a battle royale? Is it 100 players type deal?
Listen, how about you just play some on Parsec after this? Because
do it
in 10 minutes. I'll know exactly what I'm getting myself into.
Literally, exactly. Yes.
So, all right.
It has full controller support, so we could just do it just like we normally would. So why don't we just listen, guys? Listen to the podcast right now. Tune in next week for Alex's full commentary on Fall Guys.
Fall Guys thoughts. It'll happen. All right.
There you go. He'll have actually played the game. You know what I mean?
Yes, I will. I'll get my take out there.
That's right.
I just like. I've seen some people play it, but I guess I just don't. Is there stuff between the mayhem?
You're gonna find out, bro.
Yeah,
you're gonna find out. Have I talked about Healthtaker on the show?
No, you haven't.
Yeah, so it's a cute little game. I played it. It's a free game on Steam. Total play time is about 30 minutes.
You told me to play this last week, but
yeah,
I haven't.
I wanted you to play it and stream it so that Scott and I could watch, because it's a puzzle game.
Okay.
And I like watching people solve puzzles.
Yes, I'm very.
I think you're pretty good at. I think you're pretty good at puzzles too.
I'm good at puzzles. I'm just very slow at solving them.
So yeah, I don't want to talk about it too much because it's a really short game, and talking about it too much would just kind of spoil it.
Sure.
But let's leave it at this. It's a free game on Steam that anybody can play. I'm pretty sure it works on it. Like the system requirements are like, hey, do you have 200 megabytes of free storage? That's it. Runs in Unity. Anybody can play it. It's fun. It has an amazing soundtrack, and it's good. It's good. Check it out. Healthtaker on Steam for free.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Anything else? You got a nice list here.
Other than that, just Risk of Rain.
The-
Ton of Risk of Rain.
The game we mentioned at the top, we didn't say the name. It's called Other Side. Also.
Oh yeah,
CIDE.
yeah. Other Side. Yeah.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
Because we
Red,
talked
white,
about it
red,
without
white,
ever
and
saying
black.
what it was. I thought I was like, we shouldn't say what it is.
Oh yeah.
It looks cool.
That's that's like the big thing for like podcasters, right? Like they'll say the name of a game like once at the top of the discussion, and then just be like the game, and I'm like, man, I forgot what game you were talking about 20 minutes ago, and I still don't know.
Yeah, totally.
You know, so
that's why
Yeah, I feel
I
that.
try and put the big timestamps. So like if you could just go check the timestamp and be like, oh, we're talking about this game in our description, so
yeah.
people know what's up. Cool. Yeah, I guess I just hadn't heard as much of your take on Risk of Rain 2, but I'm glad you're taking it as well.
Yeah, one of the guys that I watch on Twitch actually started playing Persona 4 this week as well.
Yeah.
So I've been watching. I've seen like 24 hours of that.
Nice.
3 8-hour streams, kind of just as I'm doing other stuff, playing Risk of Rain.
Yeah.
You
I've
want
been
to buy
watching
it?
him.
Again?
I already have it. I bought it when it
Okay.
came out. Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I
I think I bought it on PC too.
yeah.
It don't
I
even think
mean,
it plays
to be
on
honest,
Mac.
like I wasn't even sure I was gonna play it on PC, but I was like, it's Atlas, you know.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite games of all time, so obviously I'm gonna own it on PC.
Yeah. Support it. Be like
Eventually, I will play it again. You know.
Exactly.
Right.
And it'll be there.
Same.
And if you purchase it on PC means like, hey, yeah, let's put Persona 5 and 3 and stuff on PC, then yes, please do that.
Yeah, I will say like it's one of the more controversial playthroughs I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Not like actually controversial, but for me, kind of controversial.
Yeah.
Because
You chose more than one girl.
No, that's fine.
That's okay. Come on.
No, but basically what I mean is like most of the time when I watch people play games, the guys like the couple streamers who I will actually spend time watching them play a full game.
Yeah.
I kind of curate that, right? I don't want to waste my time watching someone who I don't really like.
Someone you have to connect with, right?
Right. Yeah. And typically I will pick people who are going to experience the majority of the game, you know, and kind of approach games with more of an open mindset rather than a really opinionated one.
Yeah.
This playthrough is extremely opinionated.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So like he has just full stop dropped conversations and full skips dialogue with characters that he doesn't like.
Damn.
Yosuke being the most prominent one. He skips all Yosuke kind of dialogue.
Just doesn't like him as a character or something.
Yeah, he doesn't like him as a person.
Yeah.
So like that and a couple other characters, and like, you know, he's pretty like quickly judgmental about some of the characters too, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I
like,
wonder how is that because he's 24 hours in, how is that playing out like deep into the game?
I mean, it's really like, it's interesting, like progression wise, he just saved Rise. So that's like he's a little bit like over halfway through the game, I think. I don't remember exactly.
I feel like that's like a third,
maybe like a third.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird, man. Like, you know, because I think it's also because he's never played a Persona game before and has no idea what like some of these things turn into. And I think there will be, and one of the reasons why I'm interested in watching. One, I like the guy. Like he's an entertaining streamer, which is why I like watching that playthrough.
Do you want to shout him out here, or do you want to not say who it is?
Yeah, it's a streamer by the name of Tectone. He's popularly known for streaming like gacha game stuff. When I was playing Arknights, this was the streamer that I was watching play Arknights all the time. He still plays Arknights. I
mean, who doesn't really?
Yeah, and he was the guy who like 7 Deadly Sins, like he was the one who recommended it on his channel, and I was like, this game just came out. I'm not doing anything right now. Let's try out 7 Deadly Sins.
Let's get to the top of the leaderboard.
And then he quit like a day into it, you know. So,
but that's like so you have like a friend recommended a thing and they don't give a fuck about it, but you like somehow found your love in it, you know. That's great.
Yeah, other than like a couple Path of Exile streamers who I watch, even though like he's the lowest view count like average streamer that I watch, which is not a bad thing.
No,
you know, it's just like he's not a mega streamer, so just a regular guy basically.
Yeah,
and I do think that he makes really good content and everything, but yeah, your playthrough episode 4 is pretty fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, it's one of those things of, and I think you guys get it too because we all love Persona so much, of like, you know, like you should spend time with your party members.
Scott's gone, by the way.
Yeah, Scott actually he had to step out for it's other side all over again. We should tell people what's going on. No, he had to. I think he has to go eat dinner with his family or something.
No, I just didn't want to like
No, you're right.
besmirch Scott's opinion.
I was going to bring it up at the break, and that wasn't here at the moment. But like we all, I feel like we I don't want to say we have like an idea of the right way to play those games, but we understand that like you should probably get your party members up because you want to get those persona evolutions and stuff, right?
Not even that, but like, you know, going through the social links, there's a lot to unfold as far as the character's progression is concerned, and a lot of their character development has to do with that social link, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So like when you approach those characters and judge them off of like tier 1 and 2 or even pre first social link,
yeah, they're supposed to change from there.
They're supposed to be kind of shit.
Yeah, exactly. Especially like all the Persona 5 characters.
Yeah, and especially like, you know, like Best Girl of Persona 4 is a very loaded set of dice when it comes to her social link.
I like that you didn't say who it is. So now everyone out there has a very different opinion of what you're talking about.
Listen, I'm talking about Marie.
Yeah, Marie. I feel like Marie is very endearing from the game. I love the.
She's not though. She comes off as a total asshole at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, you don't like that though. You don't like that.
I
hate you so much. You stupid.
I like it. Step on me, Marie. You know.
That's what I wanted. Thank you.
But like visually at the beginning, she's really cute, but she doesn't understand anything and calls you stupid all the time.
Yeah.
And like is really disrespectful to you, which is part of her character. But not knowing that, right, this is your first game of a Persona game, and assuming that it's just a two-dimensional character that doesn't have any progression, you're like, oh, this person sucks. I'm never talking to that person again, you know? And he's been like that with a couple characters. So I'm interested to see, and the reason why I like this playthrough is because I want to see what happens when he gets some of the characters that he likes to high social links, and then, you know, and it clicks that, like, there's that much progression to the characters. Sure. What'll happen with all of these previous characters, and if he'll have... You know, he's already changed his opinion on a couple characters like 4 or 5 times. So.
Sure.
It's interesting.
Cool. That is cool, yeah. And that's like, I love, like, those Persona games especially. I love seeing people do those full playthroughs because, like, it is such a long form. Like, you got to sit down and, like, live in this character in this world for such a long time. Yeah. Like, I feel like everybody's going to have some at least slightly different takeaways from the characters and stuff like that.
For sure. So. Yeah, I think everybody kind of takes a little bit different away from Persona, too. So, like, when I played it versus when I watched CoCarnage play Persona 5, versus with the second time that I watched him play Persona 5, all 3 times I experienced the game in a different way. Yeah. It's really cool. So, I'm interested to see what'll happen in this Persona 4 Golden one.
Like it's interesting, right? Like, this is kind of why, like, with streamers, it's like, it's kind of a thing. Is like, are you streaming this to actually learn and like know what the game is and like pretty much playing what you want to play, but like, you know, just like enjoying it, or are you just playing it just to, you know, just to
entertain your audience? I
guess, or just like, because it's like, because I'm not talking shit about your guy or anything like that, but like it's more of like what are you playing the game for? It's like, and like, sure, there's an interest about like, you know, this is popular right now. Let's all get together and like experience this together.
There's always that.
Yeah, but like, there's also an aspect of like if you're not feeling it, you should be able to walk away from it, and like, even though your chat might not like it, just like, you know, just like because like I'm like with your guy, like I'm saying, like if like he's like, oh man, like these characters are actually growing on me, and like maybe I should check out these other characters that I kind of like.
Totally like that, by the way.
So like I respect that, and like but like, you know, I've seen it the other way too, where it's just like, oh, like this guy's a complete perv, and like let's just like go through it all the way through, and like,
I don't really watch reaction streamers.
Yeah, basically, totally, yes, that's a great way to put it, Tony. I don't know. And that's like part of why, you know, like Nabishin, or both of you, because I think you both have had this experience. When I play a game that I don't like, I don't love coming on here just to dunk on it, but like, then I sit here like having the conversation with myself of like, well, if I really didn't like it this much, why did I finish it? It always leaves you with those weird feelings, but it's good. It's also good to have perspective. It's weird when that's like, yeah, exactly. Perspective is so important. It's weird when that's, I guess, like broadcast everywhere, but it's also like that can be really fun watching someone dunk on a thing. Part of why
I'll watch Sonic games just so we can say I played all the Sonic games.
I'll watch Nabishin play Sonic games for no reason other than to just do it. But like, I think about Until Dawn. Until Dawn was one of my favorite games to watch other people play, just because I loved seeing their reaction to like the characters. I loved seeing people hate characters in that game. That was like the most fun because it was very similar to the experience that we all had as a group, and that Ethan, Damien, and I had it when we all played it the first time. So yeah, it could be great. I think Persona is a similar thing of like, oh, I love this person.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this person. You know? Like,
Yeah, I think once you already like, having a streamers that you like already and like know their personality pretty well, play those kind of games is really entertaining.
Yeah, totally, totally. Watching Dave Lang play Until Dawn is a great time. Cool. Is that how you've been playing, Tony?
Yes.
Do you guys want to take a quick break? And then Namsh and I can talk about some games. I think that's probably a good idea. Cool. We'll be back in just a few moments here, and we'll talk about. I got some surprises for you, Nabashin, and Nabashin's been playing Sonic games, so buckle up. I'm really excited to hear about Sonic Unleashed. We'll be back in just a little bit. Hey, welcome back.
You're welcome back.
Oh, thank you. Let's talk about some more video games. Nabashin. Video games. What you been playing?
I mean, now I already talked about Danganronpa around with 2. This played a little bit more. That got to the first death. Not much really talk about that. Still waiting to like do like a deep dive talking about the first game of Ian from OKBeast and Fiona, a friend of ours. Because like we kind of went through that first game together. So like we're supposed to be like doing something as far as like talking about it and like just to like get like a full context of it. I just want to pick their brains as far as like how they feel about it, ask them questions, type of thing.
Hell yeah! Is this conversation going to be recorded and posted somewhere, and am I going to be able to listen to it, or is it just for you guys?
Little column A, little column B, I think. Because it's all about like when he wants to get around to doing it. But like when Ian's free and stuff like that. Because me and Fiona are pretty much like free like anytime he wants to do it. But if anything, he'll probably stream it on his stream, and I'll just link you to it like later on afterwards.
Sure.
And then sometime afterwards, I don't know when, and I don't know how we're even going to do this, but like we're pretty much going to have like Fiona Fee go through the entire game of 2, and I think Ian kind of wants to co-seat with her, so like he'll probably be like on Discord or something that she plays through that game. So like they can experience that for the first time, and then like after they're all done again, I'll come back and try to chat with them about it again.
So Ian has finished the first Danganronpa?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of it? Just cliff notes. We don't need the whole shebang. But did he enjoy it? Was he amazed by it?
Oh yeah, he really enjoyed the game. He really likes the game. Not to speak too much for him, but like because I even forgot this. I forgot how long that ending like draws out.
Super long.
Is because it's just literally just them talking to you and give you a huge exposition dump, which is needed, but at the same time, that lasted like 30 minutes of just
dense
talking. Just talking.
It's a lot. I remember, but again, keep in mind me in my like 3rd straight day of playing that game through bleary eyes in my Vita, staring directly at it. Like I was like losing my fucking mind, as were probably all 3 of us. So. Yeah, it's cool. Ian Preschel from OKBeast, for point of reference. Just, again, one of those... Other Side was the name of the game. Yeah, he's been streaming it for, like, months, right?
Yeah, like, he streamed it since... He's streaming since he started streaming. Because, like, I kind of asked him, hey, you should try this. And, like, he's like, okay. And then, like, he stopped for a while to play, like, Control and some other games that he's been streaming. And then, like, he just, like, came back. He's like, hey, I'm streaming more Danganronpa again because, like, I promised Brian that like I wanted to do it, so I'll do it. And he's like, okay. So like it then eventually Fee jumped on and like she saw his archive and like then like it's pretty much been me watching both of them experience that game for the first time. There's a really good point, but I will link to you both of you and tell you like when he kind of breaks down what he thinks the game is going to be.
Okay.
Because this was like near the end. So like and like props to Ian, by the way. Like I'll message him after this. I'm talking about him, but like because like he was almost on point for almost every like before it actually happened. Like for almost trial, like he almost like picks it out like almost immediately because like how he goes into his head and like just spells it out for everybody.
He speaks anime. It's just it's a skill.
And like but like he just thought about it ahead and like planned it out, like looked at all the clues and like so okay, so this happened and this happened, so like and this person was over here, so it can't possibly be this person, so in theory this person could do it and if they did this and this, so like and he was pretty much on point for the entire time. And then like right before like the last trial, it was Ian and Fee. Like he got Fee to do a Discord with him. Like and it's pretty much just like broke it down and did like he was pretty much that meme with like the guy with like the whole scribbles on the wall and then yarn everywhere and just like
Charlie
his hand gets all yeah. It was totally just that, and like it was just both of them going through it. And then like there's the breakthrough. It was like look at the picture. You see her face. Now look at the other person's face, and it was like, "Oh my god!" And they just like broke down like right there.
Awesome.
So,
I remember that moment for me was definitely like pull the rug out from under you, and yeah, because you're waiting for it to happen, but you don't know how it's gonna happen, right? So it makes it that much better. Yeah, that first game, man, is just like magic. I really do think so.
Yeah,
That's another one that like we were talking just before the break of like games we'd love to watch people play. I totally get why you would want to watch someone play that. That's very much like an Until Dawn for me of like any murder mystery game. Watching somebody figure stuff out is the best.
And yeah, like going through 2 again, like it's been smooth because like I remember like my first time going through 2, like after just finishing 1, like it's not like it was hard or something like that, but like it was just a lot to like just like get to go straight into that game. But like it's been pretty smooth now. Just going to that game and just like re-experience everything. It doesn't feel as long so far. It doesn't feel as long as to get like to the certain beats in the story. Like I've just been really enjoying it. Like probably even more so. Like I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, a lot more.
Yeah, I'm curious, man. I want to go back and listen to the podcast when we were talking about those games for the first time, just to see what, because now I feel like they're such a known quantity, but at the time I feel like they really kind of came out of left field for both of us, for all 3 of us actually. I'd love that we got Tony to.
I got there a year later, but yes.
Yes, I was wondering because I don't remember who played them first. If it was you or me, I thought it was you. So this is news to me. So
did Justin just like tell you to play it, or was it you just like the grapevine thing?
I feel like it was on my radar.
Or were you reviewing it, or
no, it wasn't any of that. That first game was definitely like somebody recommended it to me. I don't think it was Justin. I feel like I might have recommended it to Justin. I don't know. I'll have to go back. I bet if we talked about it, I would say where I got the idea to play it from. So I'll dig into that because I know like Tony, you played it, Nabashin, you played it, I played it, and Justin played it. We all played it relatively close to one another. So you were, I guess, if you were a year later, you would be the furthest out. But yeah. And I think
just
that
you could play V3, Tony.
Was that when you and Tony were living together? Was that why you guys could trade that off? I'm trying to think.
No,
I don't remember. I don't think so.
No.
2013, right? 2012.
Yeah.
14.
I lived there in 12 or 13.
No,
I lived there 13. Yeah. That was the year I was there.
So I don't know.
So when I left, I just want to start playing it.
Yeah. Probably. So, okay. Yeah, man, Danganronpa, like I've not, it is tough, like I'm realizing now, and part of why I've still not, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, why I still haven't finished 999, right, is like, visual novels are really hard for me to get into, but yeah, that game was just easy like pie, I don't know what I was going to compare it to, but it was very easy. It was delicious, and you just want to sink your teeth into it and just get lost in that mystery. So it's tough for me to get into other visual novels where that has been like my main point of reference, that in Persona. Anything else you've been playing? I mean, what we want you to talk about.
Yeah, but I'm just trying to think of other things I've been playing. Like it's been more Ghost of Tsushima, just chipping away in that. Still just fun, just video game as video game, and I treat it as such, and like I enjoy it for that. I don't think there's anything else. Not in PC wise. No, a little bit more Mass Effect. Nice. Mass Effect 2. I need to beat those games before September because apparently that's what is rumored for the trilogy remaster to come out or whatever. And I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm compelled to have to beat the trilogy on PC before that comes out. Because I guess if I want to play the inferior versions or whatever, I'll just do that.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, do you think after beating Mass Effect 3 again, you would just go play them again on console right away?
I mean, absolutely. Like,
I know, but like, this is the intervention part of this conversation. Do you really think that you could do that to your family? No. Yeah, that's fair. You got to play those superior, souped-up, modded PC versions. So.
It's real good. It looks so good.
I believe it, man. It
looks so good. Like God, like it takes me aback, and that's why I have zero confidence that these remasters are gonna look even remotely as good at this, but like I could be wrong, obviously, but like, and I hope I'm wrong.
The only thing I could think that they could do is, because those are on Unreal, is they could do like a Batman Arkham collection and put them into Unreal 4, like up them to UE4 and see if like that makes a big enough lighting difference and stuff for stuff. But I don't think it's gonna make a big enough, just like it didn't for Batman. You know,
Right.
It's just gonna still kind of look like a PS3 game with slightly better textures. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Or 360 game. Anything else?
I don't think there's much of anything else. Like some fighting games here and there. Yeah. I think that's all my other stuff. So I played Sonic Unleashed. I don't know if I said that the last time we recorded.
You had queued up what the next game was because you had finished Sonic 06, so we knew. No, you had started Sonic Unleashed. You'd played the first 2 levels.
Yeah, I think that was it. I have since beaten Sonic Unleashed.
How? So this is the first time beating Sonic Unleashed.
Yes, it's my very first time beating that game.
How do you feel about it?
It's funny, dude. Like
Oh, I know it's funny. I look forward to these conversations every week, dude.
Because like it seriously is like 50% a good game, and yes, 50% is still F. Shut up, I know, fuck you. But like,
didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah, because I know the joke. I know the next step of the punchline right after when you say something like that. But like,
this is the best podcast
ever. But honestly, like, those Sonic sections are actually really cool, really good, and really innovative from what you even know what a Sonic game is at that point. Because it's like, this is something completely new you never experienced before. Is it perfect? No. Like, there's still glitches, yeah, and like there's still mistakes as far as like how you get through the levels and stuff like that. And it's like it's extremely trial and error, to the point that could, like, you know, turn somebody off. But like if you get into it and like if you get the flow of it, it's actually super fun and just like it's something completely new. And it was like it was so much fun like playing through those levels, and I was shocked how much I enjoyed those levels. To the point like when you do the warehouse stuff, it's like, God, I miss doing those stuff, because like it's so good. And then you get to something like that, which is like, it's not completely bad, it's just so subpar and just so generic and so lifeless of a thing, because like it's so inconsequential of why you're even a werehog to even begin with. Like, it makes zero sense, like even like lore wise from the Sonic lore tour I'm doing or whatever. But like he just turns into that thing, and like you're just doing character action stuff with that stuff, and it's just like, and then like when you're done and like when the story's over, it just like, I'm just not a werehog anymore.
Is he cured? Is there like a moment where he like drinks from like Wolfsbane or something and isn't a werehog?
No, it's like the big bad shows up and like he just pretty much sucks that essence out of him or whatever, and he's just not a werehog anymore. And it's like, okay,
did he put the essence into him? I forget how. Is he just like a werehog suddenly? Is there really nothing?
It's kind of like he's a werehog suddenly, because like Eggman like pretty much like more or less blew up the earth, and like it like splits up in sections. And then this purple mist, this kind of looks like the live stream or whatever, this comes out of the ground, and like all of a sudden he just turns into a werehog. And like, it's not like the final boss looks like a werewolf or something like that. There's no reason. There's zero reason. It's just something that I guess they wanted to do to like separate it and like just make it like a different type of thing. And like, I guess they thought a werewolf was a cool thing. I don't know. Or just like to get like some sort of duality to what Sonic is doing, like a Jekyll and Hyde situation or whatever.
Well, yeah, like I just love that. We have to introduce duality to Sonic's story. He needs it. But like, that's like every fucking Sonic game, because that's all Shadow is, right? He's just bad Sonic, or like slightly edgier Sonic. So it's just like, here's your good path and your evil path. You know, to be fair, all games throughout 2001 to 2009 had some form of black and white morality system. So, like, you know, like they were just kind of jumping on the bandwagon. I wonder, because it's like 2008, right? 2009? Or is it like 2011 or something?
This is like 2009, 2010 maybe.
I wonder if like character action or like fighting in combat, third-person combat was just huge at the time. I imagine that's what it was, and it was just like.
I mean, it's basically God of War combat. No, it's literally God of War combat. Well, basically, it is God of War combat.
Like
so
God of War 1 combat, right? Like we're very early.
God of War, like this is the basic thing. Like you're not using like the right stick to like dodge, and there's not a static camera, but like yeah, it's God of War combat. It's square, squares, triangle, 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 triangles. That's the best.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like, I remember the thing you brought up was the levels were way too long. Do they still feel too long, or are they better?
No, it's not too long. It's insanely too long. It's ridiculous how long those werehog levels are. They're 15 minutes to 20 minutes a level. And then, like, if you don't know what you're doing or you don't have a concept of what to do and, like, trying to figure out stuff like that, they can last, like, an hour. And it's just, like, it's just so drawn out and lame. And it's, like, it's not even fun. Or if it was fun, you just sucked all the fun out of it. Because, like, they're so boring. Yeah. And so lifeless. And, like, before, like, I beat the game, like, it was pretty much, like, because, like, the Sonic stuff was just really good. And then, like, you know, the Werehog stuff is whatever. I'm like, okay, so, like, this is, like, at least under Adventure 1, Adventure 2. Because, like, it's a solid concept as far as, like, a game and stuff like that. And, like, it's really fun. And, like, you could tell it's, like, easier, like, they couldn't, like, give you enough of the Sonic stuff you actually want to do in a game. It may have been, like, a 3-hour game if they did it that way. So, like, let's do something that will extend it, like, 3 times the amount because like the werehog session takes too long or whatever. And like I was like, okay, yeah, so it's at least under the Adventures game because like the Sonic stuff is really good. But then like literally like the last section of the game where it's like you're going to Eggman Land or whatever, and then like you're fighting the final boss and you do the supersonic stuff. All that shit is like atrociously bad, and it's like it's not just bad. It's like the supersonic part is like the worst boss fight I think I've ever seen.
Damn, dude.
It's so bad because like it's funny because like with Sonic 06, like the whole game is bad, but like the supersonic section part is like actually like probably the best it's ever been, other than like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Like the supersonic part is like actually really cool and really epic, and it's fun to actually do. Which is like crazy to say about Sonic 06, but it's true. That was the best part about that game was that section, and like this is just the worst. And because it's because like this whole thing with Chip, this little like this Muppet like berry thing that like that he gets introduced at the beginning, and you literally forget about him because he's with you the entire time, but you forget about this character because like there's like really no story in this game whatsoever. Really, there is story. There's like an open world and there's characters you can talk to, but like there's nothing getting to your brain, right? It's like one ear out the other, like through the entire thing, and that's just the way the game is presented. It's like there's nothing to ingest as far as like a story or why anything is happening. That's why the warehouse stuff don't even make any sense because like. I understand what's going on, but like I don't understand why. There's no why to any of this.
Yeah. Now, from what I understand from this YouTube video, because I had to see what this fight looked like. Do you play as a giant rock golem at some point?
Yeah, Chip summons like so Chip turns out to be like the light side to like this really weird Cthulhu looking thing at the end that like actually that's a really cool design. Like that's like Gaia, probably the only compliment.
Gaia Colossus.
Yeah, Gaia. Like he looks really cool. When like Chip is like he's like something like, hey, I'm the light side to this thing because he had amnesia for the entire game until like the very end.
Of course.
And he's like, oh, I'm the light side to this dark side thing. So like I need to take him down or whatever. And Sonic's like, okay, I'll go with you because that's Sonic or whatever. And then like they're at this end section, and then like you know like with the golem thing, and like it's like you're rushing to him. You have to dodge stuff to get to him, and then like it's just quick time events after that, and it's nothing. It's literally a nothing final boss fight, and like that's the most egregious thing you could possibly do, almost to the point like like it's it's not the most egregious thing. The egregious thing is making you play the game 10 times in a row. That's the most egregious thing.
Yeah, that's
let me take that back.
pretty fucked up. No, let's be real here. That's
literally why I didn't put it below Shadow. But like but yeah, like I like, cause like you know me, man, and you know how wonderful one-on-one talk to me inspires my soul, and this is like almost a literal copy of that, but like this infinitely worse, like
done as poorly as you could.
Yeah, it is so dog shit that it infuriated me at the end of that game. I was so pissed off. I was so upset. I was like, God, I just need to beat the wonderful one-on-one again so we could just get this bad taste out of my mouth.
Yes, dude.
That's how I felt, and like but yeah, I ranted and raved about it when I beat that game. Like the game ended, I didn't even pay attention to it. I was just so pissed. I was heated how they disrespected me. Like all that time I put into your game, you give me this crap.
Now has your opinion of Kyle Bossman changed because he likes this game?
He likes the demo of the game.
Okay, fair enough.
He likes the demo a little bit, and the demo is just the Sonic section of the first level, and that's it. So
that's it. That's good and pure, and we can't take that away from
Yeah, it's a good demo. But yeah, because like I said, this like the Sonic section of this part, or the Super Sonic section of this part of that last final boss fight, because like you're just playing as the Golem, and then you play as regular Sonic to like try to like get to like an eyeball or whatever that Dark Eye is, and you hit him like you have to do it 3 times, and he becomes Supersonic. And then the Supersonic part is nothing. It's literally nothing.
Yeah. I'm watching it right now.
There's a shield around him. You go around the shield. You just hit his snake and tentacles things. Then you just hit his arms, and then that's it. That's the entire battle.
And then quick time events, and then it's over. You won.
Yeah, that's it, and it really made me mad. I'm done talking about it.
I'm sorry. We needed to get this out. You know, I hope maybe this was cathartic. But yeah, it's done. What's next?
Sonic 4, Episode 1.
Okay, at least you know what, an inoffensive, mediocre Sonic game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I played like a couple hours of it, and yeah, it's pretty much just that.
Yeah, which is, you know what, fine. Was Chapter 2 of that like good at all, or were they both
really hating it? Yeah. Like I didn't even finish it. Like it really disappointed me. There was something about it.
Yeah.
That I just really didn't like. So I don't know.
I remember the art style was a disappointment for you, I think, right? Because it was like going for that old look, but it had done it in a way that just didn't look good. Does this sound familiar?
I don't even remember, dude. Like I bought it on PC again, so
sure.
Yeah, we'll re-experience that eventually. Like I have to do Episode 1, and then it's like Colors and Generations. And then Episode 2, I think,
is a well-regarded video game.
I don't know.
I know this is like. Have you played Generations?
I played a little bit of Generations. I've never beaten that either. Like I played like a couple of levels. Like the thing about like these modern Sonic games, like the 2010 Sonic games, is like I never really enjoyed the old school Sonic parts. Yeah. Like they're fine, but that's all they are. They're just fine. They're not really much of anything. And it's like you're kind of wasting my time again. It's not as something as bad like Warehouse or something like that. But it's like it's 2.5D platforming, and like you don't have the same feel as like the 2D games. So like it's like, nah, I don't want to do this. I'd rather play like something like Sonic Mania if you're going to do something like that. But you know, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, no, I get you. Well, I mean, hopefully, at least, is it better or worse to be in uncharted territory here?
I don't know.
What you're gonna play is new. You know, it's new to you.
Yeah, but it's like I mean, I'm in a place where I can just be surprised and like and just take it in for what it is. I mean, I'll eventually get to something like Sonic Mania, and I kind of just enjoy Forces the little bit I played of it. No, I beat that game like a little bit. I played the entire game of Forces, and I did enjoy that game as even though how average that game is. But I don't know. Like God, I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel right now.
Sure. No, I know it's a lot. You got all that unleashed out of you. You've unleashed yourself.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Cool. Anything else you played this week?
I can't really think of anything else, honestly.
I've played video games. I'll try and... I had a lot to say, but we've been going for a while, but I'll try and keep it concise-ish. I bought Control on PlayStation and platinumed it in the last 2 weeks. So just...
Why would you do that?
Why would I do that?
The PlayStation 5.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I didn't know they were going to do this thing where they were going to put out a definitive edition and only that version would go out to PlayStation 5. And to be fair, I bet Remedy didn't know they were doing that either.
Yeah, very much seemed like a publisher thing.
Yeah, very much like, hey, we told people already that we were going to do this. But regardless, love that game. God, I love that game so much. It's one of my favorite games of all time, certainly now. I think it is basically taking the place that Alan Wake had before of like, this is my favorite Remedy game because it can encompass that and it is mechanically much better and plays so well and looks so great, and it's just such a great game. I've been playing Spelunky. I don't talk about it, but I play Spelunky like every week. But I thought I'd bring it up again because Spelunky 2, coming out September 15th, is on the horizon. So it's probably some of the last times I'm going to be playing Spelunky, at least for a while. I imagine, having played 2, that I will probably want to play that more than the first one, generally, about everything. Just because, like, I love this first game. It is like maybe my most satisfying and most favorite game to play. Just mechanically, how it distributes itself and how a run goes in that game is just still purely the best. But I miss the mystery of that game, and I miss kind of not really knowing what to expect. I miss opening boxes and not recognizing the item inside of it. So yeah, I'm very excited for Spelunky 2. And it's cool to hear, like, that trailer, Derek, you talking about how he loved that people finding all the mysteries and the stories and stuff in that game, and how he's excited to see people do that again. So, but a couple of new things. I figured I should play one of the games I owe Nabashin, because I owe him a lot, just in general. So I finally went and finished, again, Metal Gear Solid 5. Man... What a weird video game. Ground
Zeroes first, right?
I didn't play... Well, I played Ground Zeroes relatively recently. I didn't play it just before.
Okay.
So I was really just mostly 5. I've played Ground Zeroes enough times, though, that, that's always with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had so many more interesting thoughts than I thought I would about what Metal Gear Solid 5 is and how it goes about its story going through it again than I really expected at all. Like, I went through a lot of emotions, right? This is me playing through it knowing, and hey, spoiler warning, I really don't think it matters, but spoiler warning for this 5-year-old video game. It's all on the table. So if you've never played Metal Gear Solid 5 and you care to know what the reveal in that game is without having it ruined, this is your only warning. But going through that game knowing, right, that you are playing like a clone of Big Boss, right? That you're playing Venom, right? I had a better appreciation for it, honestly, just knowing that. And it's one of those things where I don't know if I had just known the whole time, it would have been better or whatever. But for the moments like the quarantine scene, which is essentially like one of the last missions in that game, where you go through the quarantine platform, and you have to kill all your men. And it's giving you that chime of like a crew member has died like every time, and it's very much like tying mechanically everything that you've been doing in the game to who this character has become, and him rubbing the ashes on his face at the end and being like, you're all diamond dogs, you're all with me forever. For me, like going through it again this time, not knowing the twist, I was like, okay, this is the moment this guy becomes the boss. And it added a whole new layer of weight to that moment and that scene, because in a way, like the way the characters are talking and how everything leads up to that moment, it's like he made the call of like, I'm gonna have to kill these guys, because like to remind anyone that this is vague too, like you get to the top, you find out that they're trying to get out, all these people have a sickness that they want to get out. It's very cordyceps, like the birds are going to peck them to death and then carry the disease to shore. and people are rushing past you, and you're like being blockaded, and it's just quiet for a moment, and then he just starts shooting at them, and it's very like, oh fuck, like it's very like intentionally surprising and unsettling and makes you uncomfortable. But like him making that decision and then going through and killing everyone and then taking the moment to like, I'm never gonna forget all of you, for me really felt like, oh, this is the moment that defined him as who he is, right? Like, if we understand that this guy is not Big Boss, he's been kind of living as a body double for a few months and is slowly, but has been tricked into thinking that he is Big Boss. This is the moment where, like, regardless of the trick of the lie, he is truly another clone of Big Boss. And it was more of like, instead of you playing as like a fake, you are playing as like just another version of Big Boss and the idea of Big Boss and like, you know, wrestling with the idea of like, no, it's not a person, it's a title. It is like what Big Boss wanted was to kind of like create a new layer for himself. So I actually really liked all of that way more, which was good. It is like, I think a lot about, or I thought a lot about what this is. I mean, it's not a Metal Gear game, you know, it's not a Metal Gear Solid game. Like, at the end of the day, it's just not. But it is, mechanically, the moment-to-moment, the interactions you have with other characters are all very Metal Gear Solid. But I was thinking, like, part of the magic of Metal Gear Solid, and I think why 2 and 4 and a lot of those moments, and even 3, like, stick out to people is, like, they make you do all the weird shit, right? Like, in 5, it is kind of, you can do some weird shit in this game. In the previous games, it's like, you're gonna fight a dude on rollerblades, right? Like you're gonna have to crawl under things and spray them with like this gel spray that disables bombs. You're gonna have to use a sword at some point. Like in this, like all of those things are just things you could do if you wanted. So it by like I understand what they were going for here, but it you do. The player base having the choice is going to lead them to make, I think, more mundane choices and more. And you'll get the fun guys that shit in the middle of the road and the car squeals and capsizes over it or whatever, you know, like that's fine. And like you'll get that. And a lot of times that stuff will happen by accident. But when I think about the directed weirdness of Metal Gear Solid, of like the Psycho Mantis fight, all these things, they force you into these positions to engage with these really cool weird mechanics because it's the benefit of a linear game versus this where it doesn't have that benefit. It is an open game and allows you to approach things from different directions. It just loses what was there, you know, but it replaces it with something.
Remind
Yeah, go ahead.
Remind me, is Quiet like the only, like, I guess, traditional Metal Gear fight that you have in that game?
No. You have a melee fight with Eli, which happens a couple of times, which is it feels a lot like a Metal Gear fight. And there's one more, and fighting the Sahelanthropus is very Metal Gear
Right.
well. So you do get a couple of boss fights. And the thing is, like with the skulls, and I remember we talked a lot about how like they're just not a good replacement for Metal Gear antagonists. They're not interesting to fight. They're bad to fight, actually. I would say that they're the opposite of enjoyable to have an encounter with. You fight the skull snipers and you fight the skull like troopers, and that happens 4 times in the whole game. Like literally it happened. There's the bees mission. There's a mission where you have to steal a truck. And then there's the mission where you have to fight the skulls, which sucks. And then there's the mission where you try and get Code Talker and you encounter the sniper skulls. That's it. That's literally it. Those are the only times in the mission list of the campaign that you have to fight those enemies. Yeah. And it's a bummer. But like those moments were a lot higher. Like the sniper fight with Quiet was great. The Sahelanthropus fight was great, and the Eli fight was fine because it was pretty short. But like when I got to them and how they build it up as like this is a boss fight, it's like, oh, this actually feels more Metal Gear than I thought. that's what I was gonna say. Like they kind of replaced that more linear weirdness with a kind of open weirdness that is super satisfying and super engaging, and it's just a whole other thing. Like it makes,
I was gonna ask, like, after all these years, it's been like 5 years, right? So like, or maybe 4. Like, how's it? Does it feel as good as we remember it? Like,
it's still great. I'm happy to report that the thing I realized, like, 'cause it took me a really long time. I would play like in an hour chunk and play like a mission or here or there, and I was like having trouble getting into it. But I've been having trouble getting into everything, just that's where I'm at. So once I finally was able to, like, I'm gonna play this for like 10 hours straight, and I was like into it, and I was doing my upgrades and sending people on missions. And another thing that I just forgot, like, a lot of that stuff you don't unlock until you're like 25, 30 hours into the game, and it's way too deep in the game for you to start getting that stuff. I get it. I had a better understanding of the mechanics because they doled them out so slowly. But, like, you should have been able to send folks on missions pretty much right away because it gets you so much supplemental income. And it helps so much when you're going out and doing missions. So the fact that they wait to do that, the fact that you wait until, like, mission 25 before you can get a security team, because that's when they introduce the forward operating base and all that, and, like, the online invasions and stuff. So it's also, like, they've added a bunch to this game. In the weapon trees and the unlocks and stuff, there are a bunch of gold items that were not in the game originally. That they say that they're like online items, but I assume they're just like you have to be online to develop them. That's what the vibe I get. And some of those are cool, but a lot of them are like, hey, you can only get A or higher on a mission if you take this with you. And it's like, all right, well, what's the fucking point? So. Yeah, it is just like once you get into the loop, that loop is still like a 9 out of 10 loop, I think, of like go into a mission, get your binoculars, send Quiet in the Scout or send D-Dog in the Scout, mark all your targets, try and form a path there, have that quick moment where somebody sees you, reflex and shoot him. Like, all that is the best, and it's still the best. Fultoning guys is still the best. It's like Pokemon. You're collecting all these dudes. Every time I see shipping containers in other video games, I want to Fulton them now, which is great. Or vehicles. And I'd forgotten what that felt like. I remember that was true when I stopped playing Metal Gear Solid 5 before and like gone back to The Witcher. And I was like, yeah, that's funny. I totally forgot it. Like, I want to just Fulton everything now. So yeah, like the loop is there, but it's just, it's not a Metal Gear game. And the feeling, I think, ultimately, and this is super reductive, and it's not even true. It's just like it invoked this in me, so like I have to say it. Is it felt like that you're just playing a spin-off that's telling you that is not a spin-off, but like it kind of is, Like ultimately, at the end of the day, in the same way that Peace Walker is essentially a spin-off, and I feel a lot of similarly to how I feel about Peace Walker, how I feel about Metal Gear Solid 5 mechanically of like. But at least that was a little bit more directed. But Peace Walker, in my opinion, doesn't really have any of those moments. Like every time you fight the robots, the AI pods, like I thought all of those were pretty lame. And then the boss fights outside of that are like Emheiser tank, and it's like has like a whole name and everything, and it's like I don't care about this dumb tank. And it's like I don't have 3 other players with me here. So this isn't even cool. So yeah, I don't know, like. I probably like Peace Walker more just because I obviously like that's a game that's actually about Big Boss, versus the one that's about the other Big Boss. But like the cinematography, the way things are shot, the scenes, the cameras, the voice acting, even the way that they took the Kodak conversations, which I've never been a fan of. I know it's fucking sacrilegious to say, but like I hate how Kodak's are like, all right, let's stop in the middle of this scene and have an hour and a half long conversation about this guy. And they took that and kind of, again, in the same way they adapted the story and the gameplay to be kind of optional and you go at it at your own pace. They made the Kodak conversations in those tapes is like, you can kind of listen to these whenever you're doing a mission or whatever. Like I typically listen to them between missions while I was upgrading and doing upgrades from Mother Base. So I appreciate what they did, but it is a different thing. It is probably it's weird to say that this is my favorite Metal Gear Solid game because it's not really a Metal Gear Solid game, And the thought I had, I was thinking, channeling our good friend Barrett Courtney on this, and his critiques of Zack Snyder. This is like the Zack Snyder Kojima game. You know, it's like a series of great moments that don't tie together at all. You know, like here's this great quarantine kill scene, or here's like this great scene with like Quiet running away, or you know. But all of this, like, none of it happens in a satisfying way. You're not really aware, like, you'll get, like, a radio call when fucking Quiet leaves Mother Base, or when the kids escape Mother Base, or when Eli's up to shit. It's like, you know, obviously just feels unfinished. But it makes me think about, and we know what that Mission 51 and, like, going to this island that Eli escaped to with the kids and recapturing Sahelanthropus was going to be, like, the actual final mission of the game, which would be better because the actual final mission of this game is maybe the worst mission in any video game I've ever played.
I remember. Oh, I didn't remember actually.
I didn't remember.
And like Andrew Coswell, like he said he never beat 5 because he streamed this like maybe like months ago. But he he was trying I'm trying to beat 5, and like I just saw like, oh right, this part where just waves and waves and waves of enemies, and like just
it's awful,
terrible.
It's awful. And I spent 2.5 hours on it, and I put on the fucking chicken hat, and then there's like a even more baby chicken hat that I also put on because I was fucking livid. And if I had to play another second of it, I was going to throw my controller through my very expensive new TV. And I don't get like, and I wasn't like, because I don't really get pissed, but like I was at the end of my rope, and it takes a lot to put me there. You know, like when I am frustrated and like actually getting worked up, like. It takes a lot to get me there, and 2.5 hours on that mission, I was like, man, this isn't like anything else in this game. This isn't enjoyable whatsoever. The way enemies behave in this mission is different than how they behave. They're way more aggressive. Tanks don't see you this easily normally, right? Like, it is just like, it feels very out of the norm for that game. And it's awful, and it's the worst, and it's terrible, and it leaves the worst taste in your mouth after you finish that game. It's just... That's why because before I did that one last, this time I did that second to last. And I did that, and then they have a way for you to get Quiet back after the post-release that I went and did, and then played through the replay of the first opening mission, which was cool because it's been months since I played that the first time in this playthrough. So, yeah, but it's good, man. It's a great game. Just. It's very clear that game should have maybe been a different game, and that would have been great and fine and totally okay. But again, like Ocelot and all this, like all those things are great. It's just like this could have been completely removed from it. It's cool when Volgin shows up, though. I will say, like when you get to see Volgin, and it's like, all right, this is the only time we get to kind of see a character from Metal Gear lore kind of brought into this story, and we get kind of a post-conclusion epilogue to his story and all that. I like that. I like that a lot, but it's really like the only big Metal Gear moment in it. So
it's funny, dude. Like, just even thinking about Metal Gear Solid 5, because like, it's like honestly, it's like, oh, obviously, it's like it's one of the best games I've ever played, type of thing. And like, I know this in my heart, and at the same time, it's like. Oh, it's not a Metal Gear game, so I can't really like give it up the upper echelons that it should be or could be. I guess I should say it could be. But like in the same way, like I admire and appreciate it for being not finished in a way, because it's like it always makes my mind wonder like, what if he had finished it? It could have been the best thing ever, and that makes it like a little bit better for some reason for me.
Sure.
Or the way I view it, I should say.
I'll say like I don't feel that anymore because like there is the best that this game could have been. I think it just would have had to be the timeline of the story of this game would have just had to be rearranged. And obviously the mission where you go and get Sahelanthropus out and actually get closure on Eli's character, right? Who's like the only character you don't get closure on, right? So they do a good job of tying threads, but just some of those decisions feel like maybe they made this choice because they didn't think they would have enough time to do something more interesting. Like the way Huey gets kind of like jettisoned out, and man, fuck Huey, dude. Seriously, I like now that I understand kind of like better what they're making with that character of like this kind of almost malicious sociopath, like that doesn't really understand his actions and is terrible and awful in every way. Is yeah, it resonated with me a lot more. But it's stupid that he has the same voice actor as
Hal.
Well, it is, yeah. And yeah, all of it's dumb, but it's also just weird for me that Troy Baker is Ocelot in that game, where he didn't necessarily have to be, but you know, whatever.
It's funny, that's the three things that really stick with me with Metal Gear Solid 5 for one reason or another. It's the pause scene, it's the Huey scene, and obviously the quarantine scene. It's like,
yeah,
and of course the beginning is amazing, obviously, but like but it's really those three scenes that like I always think about with Metal Gear Solid 5 of why I love it and hate it. Not hate it. There's no hate that I have for that game whatsoever.
Just disappointment, which I also get.
Yeah. Man, that's a game of this generation that like, you know, like I adored my time with it. Like I remember just like I can't play this game unless I have like a 5-hour session. I kind of like with Final Fantasy right now. It's like I can't play this game unless I have like a 5-hour like commitment to this game, because like when I play it, I don't want to stop. I don't want to get interrupted or anything like that. Yeah. And I loved and enjoyed that game when I played it. And there's something to even be said about like how that game makes me feel in like different ways as far as like gameplay, as far as like how they do the story. Because like you know, like even with Death Stranding, like my biggest criticism of the game that I feel like the game is kind of like it sounds stupid. The game sounds stupid. Death Stranding sounds stupid to me, basically. That's how I feel about the game. Even though I enjoy playing it, I enjoy being in that world type of thing. But like the stuff that you're saying to me, it sounds stupid to me, and that's the reason that I'm conflicted with that game. I still need to beat it, obviously, but
like I'll say, and the other thing I want to say was like, man, it just feels like Death Stranding was made completely on the framework of this game, and having played both now, like they're so similar. Like not similar, obviously one's a Metal Gear, one's totally its own thing, but like they feel very similar, and the way the menus work, the way your little animatronics work, the way the technology is in both games, the UI, the HUD, the sound effects, it's so similar. And more than anything, fucking Fragile and Quiet are it's the same fucking character. And they're both terrible. Like but they're both like, wow, if this was written by someone who actually understands women or was a woman,
right,
or like would be okay at writing female characters, this story could be really cool. The fact it's just like it's like the clothing thing. It's like they're inverses of each other. It's so stupid.
Exactly.
So stupid. It makes me so angry. And it sucks because like I don't know, when Quiet like starts talking and like has like moments, she's really cool. But then there's like a moment where like they made it out
the shower
like,
scene.
Well, the shower scene, but like she was gonna be like sexually assaulted also. And I'm
like,
that why is this in this scene where like there's
no reason, dude? Like
there's so
zero
much
reason
going on in this scene of like the guy drags her out, tries to drown her, and then tries to assault her, and it's like, what is? And like she has her pants off for the whole rest of that scene, and it's like it's just gross. It's just not well done, and I think if you wanted to invoke a wartime effect of it, like one, you probably just shouldn't have, but two, like you just don't do that well. Like any of the kind of serious war aspect of it always comes with like the tongue in the cheek, and in all of it, like all of Ocelot's lines are all like when he goes up to the guy, there's a scene where you go to Mother Base and this guy with like a fancy revolver or fancy pistol that he's trying to use like a revolver, and Ocelot like dunks on him and he tries to be all cool, and it's like, I just don't know what you're doing here. like you were just doing this scene from Metal Gear Solid 3 again, And okay, but like Troy Baker is Ocelot now instead of this weird kid, and this weird kid's here that has a generic face, and also like you're trying to be like, guns are real serious business, kid, and then like also everyone else jumps around with guns and is like and Ocelot like 20 years after this is like, you know, like what is this? Like, what are you trying to tell me? But I get it. Like, if you're just looking, the thing about Metal Gear is like, if you just look at it as like, this is the moment, and don't think about anything else, like this moment's great, you know. But the other 4 games had the benefit of all tying to one another, and the moments, much like Kingdom Hearts, reinforced by other moments. In this, it feels very divorced from all that, and loses a lot of that meaning from that same feeling. But yeah, in my head I was like, man, this is the Batman v Superman of video games. Like, it's not finished.
Oh, that's why you put BVS. So they're like, what?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's not finished. The 2 main characters never see each other eye to eye, and like there's just a whole bunch of scenes that are okay, and none of them tie together. You know, like if you had rearranged the story of this game, I really think there would be something cool. But the fact that like the whole quarantine thing happens after the main story is over, you know, in the chapter 2 or whatever, and a lot of the resolutions of the characters just kind of happen. They don't have, and they are because of things that happen in the story. But a lot of that's like, Ocelot gave me a call, and I guess this thing's happening in Mother Base, but I wouldn't know because I'm doing missions. You know, like I'm out here grinding and winding. But yeah, it's a cool game. I really have a better understanding and appreciation of what Kojima was going for, and I think it's a cool thing. Especially like thinking about that initial trailer, that teaser trailer that was the Phantom Pain and all that, and I think all that's so cool. And I think if I know it's stupid, but you know, marketing.
No, dude, like I'm vibing with you so hard right now. It's just like me remembering moments of the marketing and like just remembering Metal Gear Solid 5. Like I want to play that game again so badly, but I really don't at the same time.
I mean, yeah, it's for sure. But like I'll say, like it was better the second time than it was the first time, story wise. Because like I
don't want to play it again. More just timing type of thing.
Yeah, totally, sure. It's just once the disappointment is out of the way, I feel like I was able to kind of really appreciate the subtlety in it, and like there's certainly a meta commentary, or I would believe of Kojima, and especially like his team members. I feel like his other team members really like meta commentary and stuff like that. Of like, you know, what a silent video game protagonist should be, and what that means, and like also that this game was advertised as one thing and turned out to be another thing is very similar to the story of the character in the game. Like, you know, like all the stuff that they were going for, of like you being the Phantom and being a Phantom, and like everyone. The thing is like, there's just so much stuff. I don't want to get too much into it, but like one thing just to give you of like, there's a lot more examples of this, but like when Quiet breaks in to kill Big Boss, right, and attacks you instead, and it's like, oh, she thinks you're Big Boss. She says in the reveal version of that mission of like, oh, the person in the other bed saw me, and then she attacks you, which implies that Quiet knows that you're not Big Boss, which completely unravels the whole game. And yeah, so because if she knew, then everyone would know essentially. But whatever, you know, we don't have to think about it too much unless she took the vow of silence right then and there. Which I don't want to get too much into it, but like literally when Quiet says, "I'm quiet," I was like, but not that fragile. And I threw up in my mouth. Oh God, terrible, absolutely terrible. But you know.
Put it in the docket. Like we need like a conversation about like, I guess
Kojima's female characters.
Oh God, no. But more of like talking about like legacy of like video games, or Kingdom Hearts Legacy, Metal Gear Legacy, and
Zelda Legacy,
like
Mario Legacy.
yeah, just something that's like when something builds on top of each other, and like more the story wise, more than talking about gameplay wise, obviously, but just like how maybe to do it right, or not really do it right. That's too judgy, but like
Mass Effect Citadel. Look, we found it. That's how you do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish there were more examples, but there are enough. I think so. But the only other thing, I'm sorry, that was a lot. I had to get out.
No, I felt good, man.
Very glad I played it. Obviously I was excited to talk to you about it. So, I
wanted to say this real fast. It kind of blows my mind, like with Kojima and his female characters, like how the boss is so good, and like it's like after that, it's like they had to have Eva there as well, but like Eva's a good character as well. She has her issues as far as like the way she's shown and stuff like that, but like I thought she was a good deep character as well. Like, that's why Metal Gear Solid 3 is the best in the series. That's all I'm trying to say. Yeah. In the conversation there.
Yeah. But there is still stuff in that context that was like, you probably just didn't need to have this kind of level of sexualization here. But
yes.
The only other thing I've been playing is a game called Undermine. I don't know if Undermine came out recently, but it just came to Game Pass, and I've had my eye on it for a hot minute. You could quickly understand this game if I compared it to like 3 other games. I was gonna try and challenge myself to not do that, but we've been going a little long here, so I'll say it's like Binding of Isaac with Zelda gameplay and Spelunky mechanics.
Say it.
It's the Dark Souls of Binding of Isaac games.
Yeah, I've seen this game.
Yeah, it's really great, but it's also like the way the meta of the game works is like 1-for-1 Rogue Legacy, which I've never actually seen another game, and it's funny because Rogue Legacy 2 comes out next week. It's funny because I don't think I've seen someone successfully really adapt that well into another type of roguelike. Because like Rogue Legacy works so well because of the Castlevania aesthetic and the kind of 2D platformer aspect of it. And this is just straight up Binding of Isaac. Like it's Zelda, sure, but it has a melee instead of a ranged attack. But you're going through square rooms where you can kind of see on the map a vague idea of what adjacent rooms look like. There are hidden rooms that you can bomb to get to, just like Binding of Isaac. It's very much taking from that, even like to the point where you have blessings and you have curses, which are very Binding of Isaac, but I think they're implemented a little bit differently here. You have to accrue curses to then. There are certain chests or certain levers or things that you can only do if you have 3 curses, if you have 5 curses, if you have 8, and it's very dangerous to play with that many on because they can range from very detrimental to, vaguely detrimental. And it's cool because like the it's a very slow slope because it is like Rogue Legacy of like, okay, I'm gonna upgrade the thing so when I die I carry over 55% of my gold instead of just 50, which is a lot more than what you had before. And then I'm gonna upgrade that so now I take 75, and then I'm gonna upgrade my weapon damage, and then I'm gonna upgrade my throw weapon damage, and then et cetera, et cetera. So you have that layer of permanent upgrades in the hub area, and then going through the mines. So I've played a good amount of it, but I guess I'm probably terrible at it. But I'm only in the second area. I got to the second boss, and what's cool is it has like boss fights like Moonlighter, which is another one of my kind of favorite games of this ilk. So it definitely is a very fun amalgamation of a lot of the roguelike mechanics that I like and that have worked for me in other games. And I think it generally works here. It's got a good sense of humor. You're just kind of playing as procedurally generated peasant. It's not like Rogue Legacy. You don't have to worry about like traits that carry over, but you're of the presumably the same family over and over and over again. But in the hub area, you've got shops that you can buy some items to start your run with, which is really cool. You've got permanent upgrades from the wizard that can like make healing items do more healing, or draw items closer, and then you've got permanent upgrades from the blacksmith, which is your weapons and damage and all that. But you can also craft with like a secondary currency that you never lose any of, but it's harder to find. You can craft rare items that will then like be added to the item pool in runs. So when you craft it, you get a free one for that run, and then it's also in the pool now. So you'll find blueprints and stuff to make those, and then you can craft potions in the same way of like, okay, you get a free one of this, and now it'll be able to be found in the world. So it's cool to kind of like know exactly what items you're adding to the pool as you play. Yeah, it's cool. It's just a really great amalgamation of other roguelike mechanics. I don't want to be reductive. I think they come together in a way that makes this have its own kind of tone. It's got a great Kingdom Hearts reference in it. You can find a keyblade that does more swing damage, and the comment on it is like, not a very good key, not a very good sword. It's like, yeah, you're probably right. So yeah, there's fun, great references in it. So I don't know. It is. I've not played too much of it to get like a full opinion on it. But if like you were hankering for a Rogue Legacy, I know the second one's about to come out, but this one is free on Game Pass, and it's really, really fun. So, and the music's pretty good too. It's hard. It is definitely on the harder end of roguelikes I've played recently. So, I played a bunch of other stuff, but we don't none of that. We're good. I played a bunch of dumb stuff. So that's it for video games. And I think that's gonna be it for the show. Scott, did you come back? Has Scott been here for like 30 minutes? No, he probably would have sent something in the message.
Yeah, he
Probably,
would.
yeah.
Just want to make sure. But let's get to the outro then. I didn't pull any news other than the Ono stuff, but you know, there's other stuff going on out there, I'm sure. But we've been going for a couple hours now. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can tweet your questions at IrrationalPod with the hashtag IPQ, or you can leave us a voicemail 44590-1337. Same long distance fees do apply, or leave us an email, mailsack at irrationalpatch.com. To follow the show and the website on Twitter, follow us at IrrationalPod, like I mentioned before. You can follow Nobishin and I on Twitter. I'm Alfighter27, Nobishin's NABESHIN 186, respectively. Now, Tony, I've been seeing you liking a couple of tweets here and there.
Every once in a while.
Every
I'll
once in a
like
while. Should I throw your handle in here too, or are people going to be able to get some business from you?
Probably not.
Okay.
Some business.
Some of that Mr. Business flair, you know? Check out our Twitch and YouTube stuff. Just search for Rational Passions. Again, hopefully plenty of Spelunky goodness in the future. But we've actually been playing games together every Sunday. As the four of us, we're going to play some games right after this, after Scott gets back, on Twitch. So you should check those out. We played Mario Party. Oh, man, we didn't talk about these games. We had some great...
Oh, yeah, we do not talk about these games at all.
I can't believe we didn't talk about that. We had some great fucking Mario Party. The games we all played together, it's like, oh, we already talked about that. We were all there for that. What do you want to know? It was so fun, man. Those two Mario parties were like legendary.
Honestly, like it's the best online experience that I ever had.
Yeah,
playing with my friends.
It was really great. That I'm glad that you had a good time with it. I was worried, you know, I this was going to be a one-time thing. I'm glad it's not, but you know, I was happy that Mario Party, that first one that Nobishin won, just buck wild. Like from the first turn, from the first go on the first turn, where Nobishin got a star. And then the second one where like it was like, oh, you won last game, Nobishin? All right, well, let's see how you do. And just beat him down into the river. But yeah, I mean, all of them were brutal and very. And yeah, we are a good group, I think, for Mario Party, which is what I always hoped. But I'm glad that we could finally make that happen. And I guess we're gonna play some Time Splitters today, but I'm gonna see if we can also play some Double Dash. I was going to wait until later to bring that up. Of like maybe we can run a circuit in Double Dash as like a palate cleanser from Time Splitters. I don't know.
Matt and I played some GameCube games this week. We didn't talk about those either.
Oh, yeah. What you guys play? Just
played Kirby's Air Ride.
Nice. Kirby's
and
Air Ride.
what other one? I have to remember.
Man, did I awaken something in all of us or something?
I mean, I think we're all GameCube purists, I think, somewhere. We're turning you into one Nobishin one of these days.
We also played.
I just played Double Dash. That's all I played on my GameCube.
I know.
Yeah. We played Super Monkey Ball as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we talked about that.
I love that game.
That's a fun multiplayer game. Surprisingly, I remember me and my brothers would play that. and it's just weird and great.
Yeah. We also found out I am way better than Scott at Super Monkey Ball.
That's funny. I remember Scott's brothers would fucking destroy me at Super Monkey Ball, so I don't know. I'm sure they've lost their skill, though. But yeah, so check out our Twitch streams. I don't know how long we'll be doing those weekly, but I'm happy with them for the foreseeable future, at the very least. So, and if not, then every other week or something, because it's just too much fun. And wherever you listen, rate and review us. We would appreciate that a lot, whether that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatnot. For everything else, RationalPassions.com is the place to be. We've reached the end of the show, which means it's time for bets. Now, we had some funkiness with last week's bet, but we'll get to that in a little bit. We didn't have a podcast last week, but we were all together, so we decided to make a bet anyway. We'll catch everybody up on that in a moment. But first of all, this week's bet, Microsoft Flight Simulator comes out on Tuesday, which has been fun to watch people get a little bit into that. My bet is, how long will the third searched video for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 gameplay be this time next week on YouTube? I'll let that one sink in, and I'll give you another read just so you can think about your time frame here. How long will the third searched video on YouTube be for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 gameplay this time next week? I'll go first. I said 12 minutes and 36 seconds.
23 minutes, 31 seconds.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. I like it. It also undercuts me just enough that it could make the difference. Cool. I'll get Scott's bet when we'll them a little bit later. So last week's bet, we actually have two bets here. Initially it was who wins Mario Party tomorrow, which was Nobishin. So I had bet Tony, Nobishin bet Nobishin, Scott bet Nobishin, Tony bet Scott. So both Nobishin and Scott won that bet, and that brought. Pretty sure I added these already. Yeah, that brought the totals up to Nobishin with 9, Scott with 6. I have not added the second bet yet, though, which was who is going to come in third in Mario Party 5. It was Tony. I had bet Scott, Nobishin bet me, Tony bet Tony, Scott bet Tony, and Tony bet Scott. So we had two on Scott. So that means Scott won that bet, which means Scott is now at 7 points, tied with Tony. So now the totals are, I have 3 points, Nobishin has 9 points, Scott and Tony both have 7 points. I like my chances, you guys. I really think I might got this one in the bag. So that's it for bets. That's the show. Thanks, guys. This was good. This was a very fun podcast. I was in a rough spot before we started as my co-host now. I won't berail the audience, but I feel a lot better now. I haven't talked to a lot of people in a while since 2 weeks ago, so this was fun. Thank you all so much for listening. We love you all very much. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Be good to each other. Be kind to one another. I know it's tough out there, but we still love you very much. Play your games. Stay rational. We will talk to you all next week. Titles.
Hold on.
There was only 2. I didn't get around to it, really.
They're both good, though.
All right, let's look at some titles, boys. We got Are Asteroids Just Icebergs in Space? And Step on Me, Marie. Jesus.
You said that.
I know I said that.
Usually it's me that says that kind of shit, but you said it. What do you like, Tony?
They're both good.
Yeah. But if you had to choose one.
I'm not going to choose one, so that you guys can both pick opposites, and then we are at an impasse, and we will need to wait for Scott.
What do you like, Nobishin?
Step on Me, Marie.
I like that one, too.
All right, well, I refuse to be part of this.
I'll say the Step on Me, Marie part, then.
What's the number?
477.
You are listening to the Rational Passions. You are listening to the Rational Passions podcast, episode 477.
Step on Me, Marie. It's like, a disgruntled husband coming home at the Yeah, and like,
She's like, hey,
just,
how was your day? And
just
he's like,
step on Marie. Very like matter of fact. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you all. Have a good night. Bye-bye. We'll be back soon on Twitch, actually. So go jump over there in like 30 minutes to an hour or so. Bye.